Wide here into the back lines.
Oh my gosh! What was that?
Brutality field there to greet his pulse pump from Alpha. You're going to be going wide here into the back lines.
Oh!
All the way back.
Angle push.
Ultra to get even more distance.
Oh!
Just going to reset the mix.
Give it, give it to me, Lenny. Give me the sauce. Give it to me, Lenny. Oh! 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 Yes! Yes! Speak to me, Lenny! Woo! Oh.
Might just be waiting for Violet, but now they have everything to play through.
Okay. Well.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out of the way really quick here because it's really important. If you guys have not heard, Project Amari was a fundraiser, a charity that myself and a friend of mine, saying thanks to the bits. My day is going well, actually, pretty good. Project Amari is a fundraiser charity that myself and Arietta, who's a good friend of mine, started up, and she and I felt like we would love to do something in the Overwatch community, and we were able to raise almost $1,200 for LQST. And it was great. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to do fundraisers at occasional points in the future for different good causes. The reason why we did this was because the timely announcement of Facet's involvement with esports and the Saudi Arabian government's involvement with Facet. Now, the most important disclaimer to say here is two things. Number one is that my problem is not with the Saudi Arabian people whatsoever, the businesses that function in Saudi Arabia, or anybody. It's the government. If the American government were to sponsor a tournament, I would have a lot of problems with that. And I live here. I do not appreciate our governments, a lot of the things that they do. And yeah, I'm going to update the headline in a second. Poop, get hang tight. Of course, I appreciate Cyrox. So, Saudi Arabia, I think we need to be very careful about how we use our terminology here. Not because we want to be politically correct, but because I really do not want to hurt people who are people living in Saudi Arabia and are thankful and have communities in there. This is not what this is about whatsoever. This is a government not mandated, but a government-supported, paid in taxes by the royalty of Saudi Arabia and Faceit, EWC, and so on. I do not support that. I do not support that. I'm not sure that I would be a big fan of really any government being involved in esport, frankly. That conflicts with a lot of my ethical and political beliefs. And Saudi Arabia, in addition to that, has a lot of issues with the way that their government is run. And the people that deal with these are not you and me, but the people that live in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so when we're talking about this, we need to feel, we need to be. I would love for these issues to be solved, not because they affect me, but because they affect people in Saudi Arabia. Now, not everybody in Saudi Arabia is suffering and struggling, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people that there's a lot of things, and it sounds like they're trying to better themselves in a lot of way, and I respect that. The political system of going from something to a more democratic or a Republican side of things is long, and it's messy, and it's ugly, and human nature does not have a very good, clear pipeline of how to do that, right? And it's not really, I'm not smart enough to know what the best way of doing that is. Maybe the peer pressure of getting into esports is a good thing for the Saudi Arabian people. I don't know, right? Maybe it is. Maybe we should be applauding Saudi Arabia forcing themselves to catch up in a lot of things because of their interest. Okay, sure. But in the meantime, I wanted to clarify that Saudi Arabia has many, many problematic views on things. And you do not have to take my word for it. I am going to link this one in chat. I highly recommend you guys skimming through this one. This is a third-party evaluation on political pluralism, participation, functioning of government, civil liberties. This is a big one for me. Is there free and independent media? And the answer is no. That is a huge concern, no matter what you feel like from a political standpoint. Are individuals free to practice and express their religious faith or non-belief in public and private? And the answer is no. And that is something that is also selfishly concerning to me and my religious beliefs. And that is, there are a lot of people that believe as me who have been killed because of this in this country. And that bothers me a great deal. And so I have worked with many Saudi Arabian people. I have worked with a few a couple players, one player in particular, I won't talk about who is related and involved in someone who very, very high up in the Saudi Arabian royalty, in the top inner circle. One of the best players I've ever worked with. Love the guy to death. I'm still talking with him to this day. Smart kid, genuinely good person. And I love him to death. And he is not Saudi Arabian royalty. He is not the government. And the people that are involved in esports are not even necessarily, I know some of them have not the best reputations, but that's just the gamers. You know, that has nothing to do with the people at all. So long story short, I appreciate the Saudi Arabian's government's willingness to improve their human rights, but they still have a long way to go, and we have to bring the light to this. Now, during Project Amari, we spent a lot of time researching what would be appropriate way of supporting Saudi Arabian rights. That wasn't the only charity that we're concerned with. There are many issues in America alone. Kakashi, thank you for the subscription, by the way, that deserve just as much attention. But in the topic of what we wanted to support at the time, this is a great organization. And this passed the check time and time again. We spent a lot of time researching. I highly, highly recommend if you are interested in supporting human rights in Saudi Arabia and from Saudi Arabian people, this is the way to go. !ALQSD. If you want a donation link, like I said, we raised $1,200 for this organization. I would love to raise more. Maybe we'll do another fundraiser in the point in future. So, long story short, has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia people, has to do with the government. Any government involved in esports does not get the check mark from me, including my own country. And for Saudi, it's especially important because we know that their stance on human rights and a lot of other things just doesn't meet the hurdle. So that being said, we are going to be donating 100% of the YouTube income and the Twitch income from today's session to charity. So I want to look at professional Overwatch. I love professional Overwatch. I want to support professional Overwatch. I'm glad that Saudi Arabia is allowing people, friends of mine, players, coaches, staff members, casters, to be able to continue to do what they love. And we can appreciate that. And I am fortunate enough to not be reliant off of that income to be able to live. That's a tricky ethical thing, especially in our world. Like, there is no entirely ethical consumption with anything that you do right now. So I'm fortunate enough to not have to worry about that. And we're going to enjoy some great Overwatch. And if you want to learn more about this is a great opportunity. Because here's the way I think about it. If it wasn't for esports, I would not know about this good cause. So in that fashion, I am grateful for Saudi Arabia's intervention because it's brought to light a lot of their contentious things and it's brought a lot of external pressure. I hope that continues. So silver lining, right? Well, we'll be doing all ad revenue, Nodlin, and the YouTube revenue as well. Found you through group of podcasts, and I love your outlook in the game. I've been thinking games for watching. Nice, Kakashi. I appreciate it, mate. Yeah, sure. So all that being said, we'll kind of move on from there. I'll change the headline in just a moment. But the reason why I'm so excited about this is this was a really, really competitive, a very competitive series, probably the most competitive series from the entire EWC. I didn't watch much at all of the series, and this is what I heard I should review. So I skimmed through it, and I was like, oh, it's a map 7. So it automatically gets the check mark here. But more than that, I was like, you know what? I should, wait, where's the pause here? Okay. I should figure out what the frick was going on with the hero bans. And Kasaurus, who is the head coach for Toronto Ultra, was so generous that he actually jumped into a call for me in Cairo. He was at the airport in Cairo on a layover, and he hopped into a call, and he broke down every single one of their hero bans. The hero ban system, how it was done, their strategy, the theory, things that they did well, things they did wrong, as well as explaining a couple of mistakes that they made and some of the funny reasons behind why those mistakes happen. We'll talk about those on a map-by-map basis. So we're very fortunate to get a lot of insight about like exactly some of these things are happening. So today's not just going to be a review. Thank you very much. So today's going to be a review of a lot of things. Okay, so let's move in here. I'm going to pull up Epic Pen, and we're going to talk about the meta. So this is a relatively weak point of mine for right now, frankly. I have obviously professional scrims, a lot of stuff has been not behind closed doors, but has not been as obvious for quite a while, especially since the patch. In addition to that, I haven't reviewed professional Overwatch since the OWCS finals, which has been a couple of months. And the big thing here is that D.Va is really freaking strong. I talked with Kasaurus, and he says that if he thinks that if the meta was just whatever right now, it feels like D.Va, Echo, Tracer, Kiriko, Lucio, some form of rush comp would be the mirror, period. Now, what made EWC unique is that they introduced a hero ban system for this tournament. And let's just be honest here, guys. It freaking rocked. It rocked. It was sick. It introduced a layer of nuance and complexity. But more than that, for the average Plat viewer, myself included, it just freaking was fun to watch. It was just fun to watch. We did not have hardly any mirrors. It did not boil down to the same comps over and over again. We'll talk about partly why that's the case. And so much more than that. Yeah, I got you, Gabe. Let's get our thing here. Oh, by the way, side note here, PK, I thought about it, and I do not want to do the programming side of things. It would not work with the title. I'll explain later, but we're gonna have to do it manually. There's no way to change it. Because the title is never gonna match the
I clearly
headline.
see 10 gold bricks here.
Okay, so let's talk about how the hero billing system worked. So yeah, we don't have replay codes. We'll give a quick rundown. I'm just going to share the information that Kasaurus chatted with me. We were in a call for 45 minutes last night. So felt like they could have beat the Falcons in the finals. So Toronto goes on to, spoilers here. Spoilers, you ready? 3, 2, 1. They beat Zeta. Map 7 banger. Then they go to lose the Raccoon 4-1. Good series, but, Raccoon's crazy. He actually thinks that they could have maybe beat Falcons in finals. There was a bit of a rock, paper, scissors in the scrim meta of Zeta, Raccoon, Zeta beating Raccoon, Raccoon beating Falcons, and so on. But unfortunately, Falcons ended up matching up versus Raccoon, which was not a good matchup for them. Basically, he feels that they could have beaten Falcons' D.Va comp, which they were relying a lot with Hanbin, but unfortunately, they never got the opportunity to. The Raccoons, he felt like, were the next team they played were just very good at punishing the support lineup, which, as good as Toronto's support lineup is, it is the weak point of the team. And so they think that that would make things a little bit tricky there. So this is how the ban system works, okay? It's ban first, then pick the roster. So one team bans a character in any role, any character. Then the other team bans a character. And this is where it gets really interesting. The person goodbye, thank you for the sub. Once you ban a character, you cannot ban the same character for the rest of the series. The other team can ban that character at any point they want to, but you cannot. If you ban Echo, like Toronto just banned here, that's it. You cannot ban Echo for the rest of the series. Now, this is where it gets super saucy, and this is where the strategy gets even more complicated. No problem at all. Once you ban a character, whoever bans first, you cannot ban that role again in that game. Big Goose, thank you for the sub. So once Toronto banned Echo, Zeta could not ban any DPS for this map. You hear me? They couldn't ban Tracer. They couldn't ban Widow. They had to ban support or tank. They had to ban support or tank. So what this means is not only do we have the layers of like who should we ban, when should we ban them, do we want to waste that ban too early, but also once Toronto bans Echo, they've protected essentially all the DPS heroes. All the DPS heroes, right? So they're introducing a lot of complexity here. Now it gets even more complicated, all right? So you're thinking like, okay, well then who bans first? First seed, which was Zeta, on the first map gets to choose. But they get to choose if they want to go first or if they want to go second. So Zeta could choose, hey, we'll let them ban first, see what they're doing with their bans, and then we'll make our decision second. Or you could go, oh, I don't want to ban first because I don't want to get them the opportunity to ban a character they don't want them to, or a role. Super complicated, super fun, super interesting. And the best part about it is there's a time limit to get the bans out, guys. And that leads to a very funny anecdote I heard from Kasaurus. We'll get to that one later on. No, you ban for the entire match. You cannot, neither team can play Echo. Neither team can play Kiriko. So we talk about something getting sauced up. It's crazy. It's crazy here. So, okay, here, let's, so yeah, so basically here's where Zeta was, and here's where Toronto was. Kosaurus thinks that Zeta, and it was accurately, I believe, was scared of rush mirrors. They did not want to play fill-in-the-blank Lucio. They just did not want to do it. They did not want Violet on Lucio if they could avoid it. They knew that this is where Toronto was most comfortable, and Toronto apparently was also doing quite well in scrimmages, even versus the Korean teams with the Diva Lucios, the Winston Lucios, the more rush-style stuff, causing a lot of issues. And so they needed to avoid that as much as they possibly can. Zeta felt a lot more comfortable in double flex, Winston comps, and so on. So Toronto's ban here immediately makes sense because you're going, well, first off, we don't really... Okay, let's actually look at what he said here. They wanted to save Winston Ana bans for later. They didn't want to burn their anti-Winston Ana ban immediately on a map that's not all that good for Winston Ana. But they also knew that with Zeta's... let's say the roster here. Let's pull up the face cams here. Okay. Alfie is a crack addict on Pharah Echo. Guy's insane. So if you're like, all right, if you want to play Dive versus us, you're going to have to not allow Alfie to play Echo. Zeta goes, okay, fine. You want to ban our Echo dive, right? Fine. We're banning Kiriko. You can't do this Diva Kiriko Lucio rush stuff. So this is a pretty early ban for this comp, which is pretty interesting here. We'll get to why that's interesting later. But the strategy from Zeta seems to be more of, let's get this nasty hero banned now, win first map, whereas Toronto seems to be playing more the long game, which in my opinion, it's hard. Like, do you value momentum or do you value map? Because actually this ban is a little bit conservative, this Echo ban, but this, as we already said, this map is not that good for the Winston Ana stuff. It's just a little bit broad. So, interesting. Okay, let's take a look here.
Versus North America, one thing Toronto has not done.
How's volume for you guys?
Take down a Korean team. They're going to have to.
Winston Ashe Tracer on a Brig. Comfort characters for Zeta Division. A lot of peel-oriented stuff. Brigitte denying the enemy dive and enabling the offensive dive. For Toronto, it's essentially the same, but the difference is that Vega's playing Illari, which seems to be a little bit more of a comfort pick. Now, the interesting thing with the Illari is that it has kind of weak ult economy, but they just don't want to play on a Brigmere. They just don't want to play on a Brigmere. And in addition to that, Kosaurus talked with me last night, and he said that he was pretty confident that there's no Diva plus Tracer, like the ability to close the distance, he thinks Illari can be okay. He can be okay. She can be okay. So we'll wait and see.
Make it all the way to the finals. A team built for success, built for championships.
Diving to control top. Peel from the enemy Winston.
A team built for success, built for championships. Now the biggest test so far.
And this is where, okay, I want to point something out, guys. How many of you guys have seen some of my Winston coaching? You do not give up space unless you absolutely have to, or you see somebody wildly overextending. Look at someone's positioning here. So we've got Ana taking the sightline here. We've got Illari plus the Ashe taking the sightline here. We have Tracer off-angling from here. And then we have Winston taking the space here. This is a great setup from Toronto, okay? Fearless goes, oh, Winston's overextended. I'm going to peel back and bubble this guy off. It's stupid. It's stupid. He's jumping in front of Ashe Tracer while doing so, putting zero pressure on this Ashe Tracer, or Ashe Illari, to be very clear. It's really stupid. If Zeta is smart here, they're going to look at the situation here, and what they're going to do is they're going to put more resources into the Tracer on this side here. They're going to put their Brig Tracer resources here. Winston's going to maintain an angle here, look for a zoning dive on backline, and on Ashe are going to be able to peel off backline here. You should not be giving up space here. This is the kind of stuff that occasional pros do when they are unable to dive deep, but that is not the case here. There's plenty of space. There's no Brig Bash. There's no Lucio. There's no Punish. There's no CC. There's no Winston. This is really dumb. And when Fearless peels back,
Built for success.
He opens himself up to a naked sightline. Someone does not even have to use this bubble because the enemy's backline can't see him. This is a troll. This is a terrible jump.
Championships, now the biggest test
and he gets smoked.
All right,
and as a result, bubbles force, space is lost.
Right off the rip is Merit, nearly finding an elimination.
And there's the zone from backline. You see that? So now HP trades here, much more favorable.
Right on the street side.
There's the rotation in through Mega, trying to create some sort of space, but Merit has a superior off angle, and Merit's getting pocket because the supports had to rotate internally, and they win the fight off of that. Space is better positions for your team. Whether it's your Winston, your Tracer, your Ashe, your Ana, when you make a terrible trade like this from Fearless, you screw yourself over.
Merit able to find
It would be better to hold the position, poke your right click on the Tracer, and then at some point contest the Ashe on the rotation. Do you notice that as soon as Fearless jumped out and lost space, that Toronto immediately was able to rotate away?
confirming that kill after quite a bit of skirmishing.
And now someone's choking them out.
Alpha E going to be taken down as Merit similarly shuts him down, and Merit now starting to take over the lobby.
And this is the beauty of having that Echo Ban come through for Ultra as well, because you guarantee
superior map control from Toronto.
Merit can go towards the Ashe. You remove the capability of this trace on these teams. And Merit, it's Merit mostly drawing first blood.
So they're going to rotate towards Coast, which is pretty interesting. Now the question is, chat, why are they rotating towards Coast? I'm going to take a quick bite of food here because I haven't eaten lunch yet, but why are they rotating towards Coast? Think about the composition. Think about the space control here. Why didn't they play Bernard this map? Too broad of a map for D.Va. Probably too much high ground for Sigma. I think Winston's good here. Winston's much faster. Force point. Right. Why is Force point better? Because Coast has harsher angles for Illari Ana to get closer because they don't have Brigitte. Exactly. Yep. Avoid the setup of Ashe Illari. You got it. Yep. Pull the point where Briggs outputs a little bit better. You can pull the Illari a little bit closer to where she's easier to dive. And so, yep. It's a good rotation. It does leave you exposed to nade, right? So you got to be careful. But you see how much easier it was to actually pressure backline. Now the Illari's angle is worse. Doesn't mean that you're going to win, as Merit hits a shot in Alpha Yi, but it's a much more it's a reasonable rotation. It's a good try. That, I think, from what we can see here, looks a little bit like a mechanical thing. We'd have to look. Obviously, Toronto maintained superior positioning, but it was a pretty reasonable rotation. Nice shot from Flora there.
Finally find one kill. Sugarfree will be taken down, but that is far from a reprieve, as he's going to be able to jet right back in alongside the rest of the team.
Okay, Sugarfree. Oh, whoa.
As that final little stagger very much hurts.
Bro, Merit is just, they're just going. And they're following up off of it, too. Someone's really bailing them out. They were not expecting that. They started to walk forward there because they knew Sugarfree was in spawn, but I don't think that the synchronization was perfect, and Merit just punishes him for it right there. Like, that wasn't even a big feed there from Flora, but man, Merit just punishes that so hard. Yeah, Merit is an insane Ashe. Okay. Now we have a bit of an interesting setup because I want you to look at this here. So they're Winston forward, Tracer forward, but you're going to notice backline's super far away. They're ready for Subprimal, they're ready for Nano, they're ready for Rally. So they're going to backline trade, deny the Tracer here from touching point by shooting point, and try to create a... This is risky because someone might get isolated here, but someone dives deep, the sleep is dodged, the nade is forced, the pulse is used, and it's a perfect kill. So this is, again, just a really well set up by a dive by Toronto. And they're backline trading in a much more open space, which favors the Ana Illari so much better. This is, frankly, Finn and Violet need to play this one better. They need to play this one better. They need to anticipate this a little bit better. They need to position themselves a little bit better. There's two stacked here. Finn rotates forward and they don't quite clear the Winston before they rotate, and this causes issues. This is really nice setup from Toronto's front line, really nice setup from Toronto's back line, and just a little bit too much rushing things from Zeta. They do get the flip, but I think it costs them Primal, yes.
Fearless far forward, Primal's going to expire, currently antied out. Vega seeking targets.
This is a Duval fight. This is dangerous for Toronto. Because the Duval fight means that, oh, all of a sudden your positional advantage might not matter as much. Inigo, thank you for the subscribe. The subscribe, I say.
Wait for Fearless, but they might not have the time to do so. It has to be Nano potentially onto Violet. Turn Violet into the tank, already low HP.
So the setup here really favors the defender because these guys have to worry about touching point, so they kind of have to just rush here, which then really exposes you to getting poked out on this rotation here. Vega has to be very cautious, but it's like look at the off-angle control there from Zeta, and honestly, there isn't a good answer here. I think maybe an earlier rally, but that's rough, you know. Ooh, Nano. I don't think RuPaul had the LOS there for the Nano. Sugarfree should be able to make this work. Oh, I thought that was gonna stick. They need to get the kill here. There's the kill. They need to keep RuPaul alive. RuPaul is dead. Fearless needs to die. Touch point. They should be able to clean this up. Nano is still available. They'll probably Nano... I don't even know who they're going to Nano. Probably Alpha Yi. No, they Nano Flora. They catch Violet. Flora is aggressive, is able to hit the shot. This shouldn't matter, though, because, again, they have to worry about point, and he's cooked, yeah. Really good. Really good. I honestly think so much of that starts with the first fight. I think that just sets the tempo for the rest of the round. You just take the immediately one bad jump from Fearless and a messy rotation, and they just choke them out. Everything felt so much uphill. Flora had no space. Finn had no space. Violet had no space. It's well done. It's well done. And there's a lot more space for the Ana EDR to make what they need to work on that map as opposed to a lot of the other dive maps. So,
statement here. And organized. I think Toronto had.
It's well done.
Yeah,
really, really good setup. Now,
they come into this one though looking very much reinvigorated as well.
Let's talk about how this works. So this is like an Overwatch 2 classic where we call this one essentially a hybrid, right? Like, is this poke, is this dive? It's a little bit of both, right? You have a backline that wants to play a little bit more range, clearly with the Ashe as well, and then you basically apply pressure, push your angles off of your Winston's dive timing, right? Same thing for this here, but there's just more consistent pressure from the Sigma. So the idea here is we need to keep pressure up on the Winston and Tracer as much as we possibly can, so that when they do dive, it's toothless, there's nothing particularly scary about it, and then when they disengage, that we have enough resources to be able to take space off of it. This is a matchup that is favorable to Zeta just based off of player caliber alone. Someone is a fine Sigma. He's probably the best main tank Winston specialist Sigma in the world, but he's just not going to be fearless, okay, on Winston, all right? That just isn't going to be... Now, he might be close to fearless on when he's on Winston, but the value of this character is just not going to be quite the same. In addition here, you have Bap EDRI, which is really good, but you have... Oh, actually, Bap EDRI, RuPaul is really good at Bap here. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close here. I think Merit's a superior Ashe. I think RuPaul, Vega, maybe a close backline here. The key thing here is that while this... Even if you were to give this team on the heroes that they're playing a slight advantage, the key thing here is that this composition is probably going to be a little bit easier. This map does have verticality, which is going to allow the Winston to work, but it's not great. It's not amazing. It's fairly open. There's only one super relevant verticality, and that's going to be, well, I guess two, which is like right here to point and then over here to bridge, right? So I think Toronto has, on paper, the better composition here. The question is, you know, what is the execution going to be like? Are they going to be able to get enough early pressure before the fight starts, and so on? Okay, let's keep going here.
2-0 affair to start things off and get that lead immediately here.
Tracer trying to mark to Winston. There's the early pressure on Winston. There's the jump. Pylon is broken. I don't know if they forced bubble there. I don't think they did. That's good pressure on Alpha Yi. They're trying to open. And you notice even how they're rotating. They're rotating towards the open space on bridge. It just makes more sense to play more open space on bridge. Anywhere where you can poke out the Winston. If you play up top, it's very easy for the Winston to hide and get on top of you with a full bubble. It's scary.
That's what they've been successful on. And Merit as well.
You see this? Tracer marks the angle. Sigma controls the pokes from here. There's like a really multi-pronged pressure here from Toronto. This looks really, really good. If you're Zeta here, I think your best bet might be something along the lines of putting your Illari a little bit here and poking down this sight line here to try and win the Tracer, or to force a Tracer this way, so you have a better staged opportunity here. It's actually really hard for this, because the thing is with the Illari, it's just hard to pocket DPS from range, right? You know?
Every single first blood nearly.
Because you look at like how RuPaul's positioned. RuPaul's positioned here. He could pocket both of these angles here while still being a little bit far away for Winston to jump. It's really good. I love, again, the Toronto space control here is like so nice. And like, again, it's such a passive jump there from Fearless. And it's really easy to break this bubble and pocket someone. Like, it's understandable, but like, oh man, what a rock there from someone as well. Wait, what the frick is Finn doing? Yeah, Finn's looking for an anti-nade there. He just gets rolled. He just gets rolled. Finn is looking for an anti-nade push off of the isolated Sigma, but he just gets smoked. Like, someone just mechanically destroys him. And I think it was a bad play, too. I think Finn needed to anti-nade off of this position here, and then shoot and or apply pressure, and then crossfire here. There's no reason for Finn to do this. This is a classic Finn. I say classic Finn, but yeah. Good shot there from Violet. Again, like I love the space control from someone. Someone just needs to be the punching bag. If someone can be the punching bag, they're gonna win this round. They're gonna win this round. If someone can live the dives, they're gonna win this.
You have someone coming through on the Sigma double flex. It's actually kind of hard for Fearless to get in there, and usually you see a lot of.
I think ironically we talk about the weakness of Toronto's backline here, but depending on how this series goes, like on paper, I'm not super confident in Zeta's backline here. Violet is the GOAT of Overwatch, but I don't know if he's the GOAT on Illari. Maybe he is. I don't know. And Finn is great. I mean, man, they're just killing these dives. I love how aggressive RuPaul is playing. He's just putting so much pressure out and never really getting quite punished for it. And see, like, you're not even unhappy if you're Toronto, because that's such a long dive. Yeah, you got Pylon. Well, no, you didn't even get... Okay, you did get Pylon because it got damaged a little bit here. But they just... Like, what can you do? They've held the angle. They didn't even give it up. Like, look at the space control, man. Like, look at this space control. Toronto is all over the place. All in open sightlines. There's nowhere Fearless can go where he doesn't take damage. Like, right now he's taking damage from Sigma. They're just getting squeezed. They're just getting squeezed. It's like a giant spider web. 3-4 different angles, all connected to each other. It's making it so hard for Winston to take any space here safely. Yeah, we'll talk about the clip on map 7. I'll give my take on the clip. I think your best bet here for Zeta is to hard commit to a split. You don't have to worry as much about your backline because there's no Winston dive threat. So in theory, you could be way more aggressive with splitting these supports and just put Violet and Alpha Yi together. Honestly, put Violet, Alpha Yi, and Flora together and just run it down here. Smoke this Tracer out. And then Winston Sigma can Winston can brute force the Sigma back and then take space off of that there. Yes, in theory, the Sigma can zone the Ana, but if you get a nice Winston bubble, if you get a nice Ana nade, it might not kill the Sigma, but it will force space out, which then gives your Ana sightlines, and in theory, you should also be able to take the trade here. I don't know how Zeta is splitting right now, but I'm not loving this, right? This is not probably the best way to doing things, right? The Ana EDRE stack is just not going to work. It's not going to work, because now you're giving the Sigma 2 targets to zone, and we've seen how that's been going. I'm not going to review CR Toronto, no. I think it was a little too one-sided. I know it's the finals because that's that's attractive, but yeah. You see, even here, let's go back a little bit here. Let's look at the space control here from Zeta, You look at this here, and yes, they get they wait for the rock, they get the nano off of it. It's a pretty nice jump. And then at the same time, I think Flora takes top and pushes off of it. But even here, like Sugarfree's getting Pelp, Alfie is getting nothing. Alfie is on an island, and my guy gets his recall. I think he gets his recall forced. Yeah, he gets his recall forced without even... Just got shot, man. Like, Alfie is on a total island right now, and I think that's a huge mistake. So even though they used the timing of that push for Flora to hit a nice shot in Vegas, so respect there to Flora. It was a good setup. There's a real chance that nothing happens here, because they still don't have space. They still don't have space. They still have 1, 2, 3, 4 different positions here. Right? So this has to go really well. Like, they have to hit a shot or something. There you go. I mean, this is still dangerous. This is still losable. You can't touch point anymore. Oh, someone overextends just a little bit there. I don't know what happened there.
To be cycled out as Merritt finds those headshots.
A little bit of ego. Maybe he needed to rotate out way sooner. Way sooner. That was just a goof up from Ham.
You saw the healing part for Merritt, so he's still in play, Bob.
It's fine. I'm friends with his coach, so we're chill like that.
Division can't really do anything about that now. Felos dies without
I took a picture with him. It's fine.
Really contest the flux. It's about to be
Yeah, this is. I think in theory, like this is never the position you want to be versus Zeta's comp. So Zeta has now choked them out, and they've got their Winston here. So anything is really dangerous now.
Sort of entry ability.
Yep, they have this contest, and I mean Toronto Ultra looks.
So now they're going to choke them out, and with the Bob and with the Primal, you're going to get choked. Okay, so now Toronto has to be creative here. You're kind of at a point in time where like, okay, you shouldn't have lost that fight, I don't think, but whatever. You don't have space. You don't have space for ultimates here. You have to retake with Illari ultimate, which is atrocious at retaking space. And not only that, but they have a lot of ultimates that just pound chokes. So good luck.
Finish things off, but they're going to be going up against 3 ultimates on the side of Zeta.
He's proved he's not a Kappa coach. I'm not going to lie with you guys. You have no idea how good of a coach Kasaurus is. Sammy Robot, thank you for the sub. The ban phase, I agree, gives you a little bit of respect to Kasaurus' bans. But if you guys are saying that Kasaurus is a Kappa coach, and then he has one good tournament result, and now he's not a Kappa coach, like, come on, man. Kasaurus was probably and has done a fine job with this team for a long time. You guys are you can't be so swingy. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Know that Christopher has said that? I don't give a frick what Christopher says. Christopher hasn't worked with the team. He wasn't around with Kasaurus. Christopher has a more educated opinion than you, but Christopher still doesn't know enough to give an actual educated opinion. Nobody does unless you've worked within the team. You know? So, like, I think from discussing with him the bans, I was very impressed with the level of strategy, and I think they outplayed Zeta with their bans. I think in terms of the ban phase, but that's such a small percentage of what a coach does, right? Like, you have no idea. You have no idea. So unless you've spoken with the players and with the organization, it's really hard to know about the quality of a coach in Overwatch. They don't. So I think that's a very important point here. Very important point. So I'm not dissing Kasaurus. I'm doing the opposite. I'm saying that if you guys are swinging this hard from Kasaurus, Kasaurus overrated, now Kasaurus is the greatest thing ever, you guys are insane. You guys are insane. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Really important
Kasaurus sounds, from what I know about Kasaurus, I have a lot of respect for his ability, and his players seem to respect him a great deal, and that's it, man. To me, that's it. Who gets to do first ban on first map? I don't remember what Kasaurus said. Technically, Zeta could if they wanted to. Zeta had higher seed, but I don't know if they pass it to Toronto. I forgot to ask Kasaurus. I might not remember, but it doesn't matter. No, I'm not beating on you, Apolify. I'm just using it as like a springboard here.
Someone goes over.
So let's see. How are they going to retake the space? I like the Winston swap. Much easier to retake space with the Winston because you can close distance much faster. Sigma just can't really reach anything outside of first fight. All he can shoot is Winston. He can't really control backline because now they've lost space. So I think retaking with Winston here is really smart.
Over towards the Winston himself. So we are slowly changing compositions over.
Pressure. I like the setup here. I like the on a swap as well because they're on Winston now. And look at the creativity. Ana, Illari, Ashe, I think, was it Tracer here as well, or Winston? I mean, if you got nothing, you might as well roll the dice here. I like this. Papo, Vega, Papo. Let it roll. Nice!
Zeta division that have the ultimates. Vega, what can he do with this?
Roll the dice. And the funny thing is you guys are like, oh, what a bad ult. Doesn't matter. Got him off high ground. Got a sight line. We got some space here.
Vega gets hit.
You managed to connect.
They didn't even set up the bomb. They didn't even set up the primal. This is strategy, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have an honest way to win this fight. So what do? You take all the flanks, you take all the angles, you time it perfectly, and there you go. Great job. Great job. You create enough chaos where if they make a mistake, let me close the blinds here, where if they make a mistake, they get punished. Beautiful job. Let me get the light here. That's great. That's great. That's super, super well done. Even if you lose this fight miserably, you feel good about how the attempt here. Well done. Really well done. Approaching from multiple sight lines. They panic. You leave. You open the door for mechanical expression. In a fight where really Zeta, all they had to do was press Q, but it was hard to press Q because they were coming from everywhere. There was no easy primal or easy bob. And so it's a mess. Zeta has dumped everything, and they're losing this fight. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Good discipline there from someone. Oh, nice right click. That's it. That's it. I'm surprised they didn't nano there. I don't know where Finn was. Maybe Finn didn't have a sightline. What kind of mic do you use? Audio? I don't know. Does anyone poop get what kind of mic do I use? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, there's really nothing to say. They missed it. It's just, it was super smart. That was super smart. I could check really fast, I think. I don't know what mic I use. It's through like a thing. Audio Technica, it says Audio Technica. I spent a lot of money on it, man. Like it was like a tax write-off, I guess, but I was like, it hurt. Yeah. It's super well earned. Great section of like great bands, great comps, great pizza, Walmart. Yeah, it's just the map space control, the planning side of things from Toronto was really well done. I didn't like Zeta's setups near as much. And yeah. Sparrow, what's up? Out for Blood. Thank you for the subscription. Do you think the Echo ban was more of an Echo ban or DPS Protect ban? When I spoke with Kasaurus, he implied that it was more of an Echo ban without wanting to ban on a Winston just yet, because they wanted to save it for later. So it was like their third most valuable ban for dive, and they felt like it wasn't a super scary dive map, so that they were like, they'll cash in the heavier bans on more scary dive maps, basically. Thoughts on hero bans as a whole? Man, we haven't done it enough to know. Weevil, thank you for the subscription, but holy frick did it lead to a lot of map composition variety. And I think a lot of that, from what I'm hearing from Kasaurus, I think without bans, I think we would have seen a lot less variety. I think we would have seen a very diva-heavy composition. So I'm from the little that I know, I am a cautious supporter. Okay, so let's talk about the bans here. So I talk about this with Kasaurus, and their plan here was to ban Winston. Now, I initially didn't think dive was that good this map, but apparently, when you run like a double flex support like hybrid with Winston here, it's not bad because you can support the Winston from a long way away and then play a poke support with it, and it works out pretty good. You play that with a Tracer and a hit scan, you support the hit scan with the Illari, and then you have the Ana that supports the Winston, and the Ana supports the Tracer, and we're cooking, right? All good. Problem is Mr. Someone here goes to Kasaurus and says, yo, Fearless is cheeks. This guy is garbage. I mean, you guys saw the first fight in downtown. He trolled the entire fight by diving backwards. We don't need to ban Winston here. We can destroy them. This guy is garbage. We don't need to play Sigma. We don't need to play. I'm dead serious. He says, I will beat this guy in a Winston mirror. And you guys saw it, right? Fearless tossed a couple of fights there, right? So clearly, Fearless is garbage, right? The worst Winston player ever in the history of the Overwatch League. So basically, they did exactly what they were expecting here in terms of Zeta bans Lucio. Why? Because they don't want any of this Kiriko, Lucio, Diva nonsense, right? Again, they're very scared of the Kiriko, Lucio rush comp, right? Which these guys are going to run very well. But then Toronto does something odd and goes, okay, well then we don't want you guys playing Diva comp. We want Fearless. Give us Fearless. No Bernard, no X Factor here. Give us the stupid idiot Fearless. Which is also risky because that definitely, there might be a time later where you want to use the Diva ban at points, right? And now that's gone. Not the end of the world, but it's gone. Fearless has a really good map.
And that Ashe can continue to be
Sometimes you just gotta trust your players' opinions. I think that's always the most important factor. It does not go well. Alpha Yi on the Pharah? Freaking weird, but Alpha Yi maybe thinks that there's a way to flank. Like, it's a first fight, geez. Let's see what happens. Now they're rotating this way because more space. This, more congested, causes more issues with a composition like this. In a mirror, you could rotate theoretically, maybe get here at first, but even here, it's still open, right? It's still open, so.
The true Pharah believer in the EWC can Zeta Division lock in with Alpha again, like they did yesterday versus SG to take them far.
You notice again the setup here, right?
He is the
2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if this side can rotate around and get value. The key thing here is you want Vega to get here as quickly as you possibly can to start applying pressure. And frankly, Tracer needs to rotate all the way to this position here. Somewhere in that general vicinity. Yeah, we'll talk about the Violet clip.
Can Zeta Division lock in with Alpha again, like they did yesterday versus SG to take them far.
For now.
You see, that's why Fearless is backing off. Fearless tucks in this way, gets shot in the juicy cheeks by Mr. Vega, and has to disengage.
Starting off here.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, there's the offing right from Vega and Tracer, right? So they've controlled the map.
That much pressure on Alpha E here with that Pharah 2 delivered. Was a thorn in the
Heck, we're even getting. I mean, look at the space control here. This is really good. Force bubble. If someone can find value here and avoid taking damage and get a good dive here, Zeta might be cooked here.
Teams ahead of this. See if we can continue on that track.
The problem, obviously, is by brute forcing 5, they were able to get their backline on high ground, whereas Merit's on the floor. So they had the angle control, but they lost the high ground sightlines. So it's.
Here's Merit taking a bit of damage, lobs in the dynamite.
Oh man, that's so. That's actually insane.
Ahead of this. See if we can continue on that track here. As Merit taking a bit of damage.
And then Violet peeks to the left angle and kills Merit. That's actually such a bummer. That was such a close setup there, but they just didn't quite get the execution there. Still winnable. Everyone's really freaking low, and they're dude, I love it. They died, but they kept the space, so they trade, right? There you go. They lost the guy, but they maintained the angles, and they win the fight. Down 2, 2, dos.
They turn this fight on its head. Still continuing though as Violent will fall. Sugarfree.
That's crazy.
Gets that full health. Chucked away down to 20.
Show people this clip whenever somebody tells you that 5v5 snowballs way faster than 6v6.
Untouched there, so they had a lot of impact. Still, Vega did get died, but he's surviving. Now summon back into play to run an Ultra. Looking pretty good, 30% leading. RuPaul, by the way, just healing someone up, taking that poke damage, leading to a massive nano difference.
Huge dynamite, wow.
It's really important for Zeta
that kills the push there.
Flexes.
No, there's no replay codes. Classic pro Overwatch moment. Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one too. Now, can they punish Fearless for this? Because they're not. They might not be able to kill backline. Okay, maybe there's somebody here. Is that Violet?
Maybe the goat of Overwatch versus Vega, the newcomer.
Made down, not getting the ante. The dive.
You're gonna notice something really quick here. I want you guys to notice the play style difference here. Okay. Obviously, Zeta's going to win this map, right? So, spoilers alert. But Toronto is setups, like Zeta is stacking backline and brute force rotation so that they can get a better position for their backline to shoot. Toronto's not doing that. Toronto is doing the whole, El Spilo approach, right? And they're taking better splits for more crossfire. And they're punishing the choke as a result. Like, if you're Zeta here, if I'm coaching this team, there's no way in crap that we're rotating our full backline into a Nano Monkey Dynamite nade here. We're going to put 1, 2, maybe 3 here, or, maybe 1, 2, 3 here. And then I'm putting my Illari or whatever here, or Ashe. Maybe my Ashe goes here, right? But then I send my Anna Winston this way. Like, I'm not retaking like this. And you can see why. So I'm curious, what adjustment does Zeta make? Or do they just brute force it? Do they just out-mechanic it? Because Toronto's setups have been really good here. In fact, even getting a touch here should not really be possible. I think it could go next.
And gives up a lot of the other charge, so understands that in this matchup, I think the Tracer is just going to be a little bit more important.
Yeah, and they swap Tracer. I think that's a good swap. I think that the Pharah was controlling negative space. I'm not sure what the theory behind the Pharah was, because the way that they rotated didn't give them a choke to spam. Yeah, I mean, the Tracer swap, you have to. Like, you just can't. So let's see.
you're gonna need that Tracer in play.
There's the split that we were talking about again.
Seeing that impact from the Tracer on that
Tracer's going to tail behind. Alpha Yi has honestly been the only person, which makes sense because he's on Tracer, but Alpha Yi has been on an island like this entire game, I feel like. Basically on an island almost this entire game in terms of the support that he's receiving.
Finding that regular impact, finding those one clips, finding that backline harass, but for now it's Fit and Violet who are the ones getting tagged up.
On an Ashe.
Impact out of Flora. One does miss, but the Captive Sun drops down.
Captive Sun, they're choked out. Someone, Primal, great sleep there from Fen. He should be okay. Illari again, like, look at the split. There's just no, I don't know, man. Like, Zeta, Zeta is just not controlling space. They throw 2-3 ults. Oh my gosh, freaking Fearless, man.
Captive Sun gonna be lobbed in, and Vega collects a kill on the pin before getting traded out by Violet. But
no way they went off of that. Is this how Zeta wins? Fearless just murders people by himself. He does. That's what happens, isn't it? I have not seen this.
He's not really got too much support though. Supports might be coming back soon. Someone's in trouble here. He doesn't have any support over Zora.
No, that's the right play from Alpha Yi. I'm more complaining about the fact that Zeta as a whole doesn't support Alpha Yi on these angles. They're getting torched. Yeah.
The rest of my team is not that far.
So basically, Zeta goes at a disadvantage there. Again, trades 2 down. Again, 5v5 moment there, ladies and gentlemen. And Toronto doesn't get a chance to use their Bob. And they don't have their Nano yet, or they had already used their Nano. So yeah, Zeta dumps 5 ults into that, or 4 ults into that.
Was looking pretty dicey for Zeta Division. You saw that Finn actually.
Yeah, I mean that's like a razor thin margin to lose that. Ooh, big dynamite. There's again the setup from Illari Tracer. That seems like a consistent theme here. And notice that Zeta's actually started to do the same. They've done Ana Tracer, Illari, whatever here instead. So Zeta's slightly adjusting it. They're going to jump over the top of someone. Merit's going to bob this way, and they're going to pincer this way. Let's see how it looks.
Bob, available, sent.
He gets isolated. They win the 2v2, though, on the flank.
Back across Merit with the code gun, trying to get
and he lives.
Boost coming through, I should say. We'll be able to do
nice sleep there from RuPaul.
The
wow, that was good. Really well played there by Roger. That was tight right there. Very well done. And I don't even think Zeta's setup there was bad. They just lost the 2v2. They just lost. Illari Tracer just won the 2v2. Is Illari a better Tracer with Ana than Ana the Tracer? I think it depends. I think that Ana is better when there's range involved because you can actually support the range and you can apply not quite as much damage as an Illari, but pretty good, right? You can't headshot, but like you're fine. The Illari, the Ana in theory is better up close, but I think Vega must have just like maybe Fen didn't hit the sleep or didn't hit the nade, but the pylon, like the longer this fight goes, if the Tracer and the Illari can play really tight, like the pylon just does more. You know, like if you take a 2v2 in a small room with a pylon, if you don't break that pylon, man, just doing more. So I wish we had replay codes because I'd love to look at that 2v2 because that decided this fight, that 2v2. And that's it, you know, like you got to give credit to Vega and Sugarfree. They just won the 2v2, man. They were just better. A lot of that comes down to mechanics because once you set up the strategy, it just then becomes mechanics. Early Nano. Yeah, so let's talk about this. So it's an early Nano for sure. But it is set up, right? There is a pincer push from here, I think, and there is a push from here as well. I think the difference, yeah, the difference is Zeta. You guys remember the retake of Busan downtown where Zeta just like looked like surprised that they went so early and they weren't quite ready for it? Okay, Sugarfree doesn't come from here. I prefer Sugarfree to come from here. I don't like Sugarfree coming down from here. I don't think that setup from Sugarfree is good. But like the difference here is it feels like Zeta's like more prepared for this. Like they go in knowing that there's Nano and they're not like caught with the pants down here. So you know, it's a risky play no matter like what way you paint it here. But at least Zeta's more prepared for this one going into this situation, and they're like able to kite it. Okay, let's keep going here.
Nano here onto someone once again, just dictating the pace here on the side of Toronto Ultra, but a great.
They get a little bit of an extension there. They fully commit to that Nano. Fearless catches the aggression on backline.
Percentages now the lead gained. Ultra
And this should be a recontest here pretty easily from Zeta. Oh wow, that's crazy. Not even an opportunity to kite that one out at all.
That'll be the flip coming through here for Zeta Division, holding out hope.
Reply finally onto the back line.
Are they going to be ready for the early engage? Will Zeta even early engage? Let's see the setup here. Deep Winston, early pressure from Fearless, it looks like. They're going to peel that off before they get the split. Then they're going to split. Bubble is used, so window of opportunity here. Winston touches, bubble early to avoid nade and poke. He touches point at the last second. Man, like, I'm not sure what happens to Merit's HP. I think he just gets poked out from Violet from the high ground. So check this. 1, 2, I think Violet's behind us on the right, and they just kind of like pincer push the backline. Well, Zeta's setups are getting a lot better, man. Like, they're getting a lot better. Like, this pincer, what kills Merit is not Fearless. It's Violet. It's Violet. And even with the sleep here, the Tracer's there, the Winston's there, Violet's on the flank, full commit right now, all the way on backline. And even with the backline trade here, it might not be enough. Yeah, it's not enough. So, like, you know, give credit to Fearless there for obviously, like, finishing those kills. But I think Violet gets a lot of credit for that fight right there. That was really, really well done. Do I not watch Party Life? No, not for this one, no. Sometimes. Old economy here. I think Toronto needs to put some pressure on top right, but they need to be ready to kite this out until they have Nano. I think Bob, Primal, you're not going to win point here. It's not going to happen. You just need to try to keep people alive. Yeah, I wonder about that, Sammy. I wonder about that. You know what it feels like? This is total conjecture. It feels like NA Overwatch is what it feels like. Like, you know how I always meme on, like, NA teams don't take any space, and when they take space, it's like these crazy meme flanks? That's what it feels like sometimes from Zeta right now. But obviously, I haven't seen a lot of how this team plays, so it's really too early to say. You would need to go back. I would not think of the sub. If you guys get a chance, go back and study some of the setups and maybe some of the earlier and later matches, or earlier matches, I guess, and see what you guys think. It feels like either like really, really crazy wild setups, which are like pretty good, or no setup at all. I really like this from Merit. He needs to bait this dive here if he can. Look at this. Even when they're down ults, they don't take an angle because you can't. You have to take an angle here because you'll lose the fight if you don't. So there's the dive. They kite it out. Oh no, that nade from Fenn is crippling. Okay, that's all right. The bubble was used. Opportunity here. Oh, wow. I didn't realize how quickly Merit. I didn't know Merit was that close. But yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. So now you can bob here. Vega needs to chill. Vega needs to chill until he has pylon, or at least careful peek this. Yeah, so he's trying to peek this angle. He needs to be way more cautious. He goes too early and dies. This is a great setup here. They disengage the Winston bubble. They have bubble, so they can go in deep with Bob. But Vega shouldn't die here. There's the nano. It gets booped. It looks like, does it get booped by? I think it's booped by Violet. That was actually pretty nice from Violet there. That sucks. That actually sucks for Toronto. This fight was so winnable if they had Vega. Despite the kind of the messy ult situation there. And good play by Violet as well. Yeah, I agree. I say Vin, Violet are extremely inconsistent. I don't think, okay, so maybe this is the real like conspiracy theory here, okay? I think Violet needs a support to complement him. You get what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I missed your question, Ninja Boy. Probably not a good time to ask about gameplay questions right now. But yeah, I think like Violet and Finn is not the dream team for me. Because I look at both of them as like being relatively more aggressive supports. And maybe that causes issues.
So, Toronto Ultra not quite ready to push. The bog from Merit does go in.
Not sure.
Traded really quickly. Nano onto someone, but instantly you lose.
Vega takes top right.
In control. They have 26
I think.
now, and they're going to get their own Nano. So, in terms of the ultimate cycling, Zeta in a good spot.
We're playing main. Maybe they feel like they get a better angle for. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So do you notice how this was set up?
Really starting to dictate the pace
So they
here.
put Merit top right.
Someone with that primal's gonna
I
have-
assume with some sort of like on a pocket or whatever, they bait the nano dive this direction, and then they set up the Illari ultimate here. So they pull the Winston away from the Illari, because it's not just about the initial shot, but then it's about the follow-up from the Illari afterwards. That was pretty well done.
Big Captive Sun out, sends it.
The problem, though, is that when he pushes main, and Merit, who's well-positioned, punishes him. I just don't think he knew that Merit was there.
Go big Captive Sun out, sends it.
And I also don't feel like Sugarfree was positioned well either. I don't know where Sugarfree is. Oh no, Sugarfree was angling here. And then yeah, Sugarfree also gets poked out by Merit. Man, that's actually brutal. That this entire fight is shut down because Merit's on an Flora is on an angle. Sorry guys. You know what I'm saying? Flora on the angle here. That actually crazy. Pokes out Sugarfree and then pokes out and kills Vega. Better setup here. Probably maybe a little bit more patient with the setup. Maybe establish a little bit more pressure from the off angle onto the Winston first and then go from there. Man, I don't know. I really don't know, actually. Defender's advantage versus the Nano. I think maybe the best thing for Vega to do then is instead to ult here if he knew he was there, so that they force the Ashe off and then they can properly contest point. I think going for the Ana here, maybe that was the sandwich or the cheating. You get what I'm saying? I think you needed to clear the angle of this ultimate first. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I just don't know if he knew he was there. It's a minor nitpick, to be fair, though. So a little bit unfortunate, for sure. And they also nanoed their Illari as well. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but Merit does hold top, though. They do get space off of it. So they do get space. This is even. They might even be up one. I'm surprised that nobody. I'm surprised to see both supports rotate away there. That's a mistake. I don't like this. We should have been way. Well, I guess they're down there, Winston. Yeah, no, never mind. It's fine. It's unfortunate.
But there's still so much staying power for Zeta with Fearless.
And just 5% off, 6% off for someone there as well, so just couldn't quite get the point.
It's just really well timed push here, and then Merrick gets caught in the corner.
That's Merit.
And then they hit the ultimate there. That's tough.
Especially with, at this point, hang on, someone's going to make it interesting. There's actually no supports at the moment, so all the damage here counts. It's permanent.
Hero bans are not going to change competitive in terms of people suffering from the stake of one at all. That's not going to solve the situation at all. In fact, hero bans could potentially exacerbate that issue in some ways, because you get people that want to one-trick their character, their one-trick gets banned, and they don't know how to play other characters. In the short term, that could be extremely difficult. Long term, maybe that solves the problem, but like that's not going to solve your problem at all, mate. I'm sorry.
Either side, Primal's in play.
Someone commits. A little bit of overextension there from Flora.
Pulse bomb could help try to turn tides of the fight as someone whittled down a habit.
Someone's got to be careful.
Waiting for the supports to return, but he has not been killed off.
Okay, good.
Flip will come through. Toronto Ultra holding.
You guys are coping if you think otherwise.
On Suravasa. For now, Zeta Division say, okay, let's just slow things down.
No silver scientists in my chat, please. Okay, Vega.
Bans with one tricks existing would be so bad because during off hours you could
potentially
queue into 2 to 3 games in a row with one
so I talked a little bit with Kasaurus about this, and he says Vega felt like he was getting choked out space-wise. You guys could probably see why he felt like that after the initial push there and with the off angle from the Ashe. I think partly skill issue, but also partly reasonable. So he goes Kiriko to enable Sugarfree and just basically to get space, right? The problem is Kiriko's fine here, but you really need to hit backline. You don't really do any damage versus Winston. Even the Ashe duel, like the loss of a 2-tap has lost a lot of pressure from Kiriko onto squishies here. So Kiriko is fine, but like it has to be played like really well. Like they need to be pressuring like right now. Like they need to be pressuring right now. It's too late.
Slowed down the Bob a decent amount. So here we go.
Oh wow, nice stick.
Finds it, Finn.
He shouldn't have recalled though.
Kind of cycle that they need to maintain, pick after pick, whittling away.
Because we needed to get more trades. We needed to clean that up.
They don't want to have to wait too long. They know
we needed to clean that up.
Primal coming in. That's an entry for Zeta, but with another player down, it's an instant reset. Merit's going to have the Bob now as off. Flora's still behind.
They need the kill. They need this kill. They need this kill. Nice. Very good. But the Bob as well, I do not like that stacking, guys. That you guys know the rule. No, you layer, don't stack. That's a terrible Bob. It's not even well placed. If you wanted to complement the Nano, you'd place it on a back wall here or even flank. It's not a good Bob from Merit. This is getting sloppy. It's getting sloppy, these setups.
Kill a player, maintain control. That's the cycle here for Toronto. It's just alt go pace. The dive will be good. Flora eliminated.
They catch the aggression.
It's just
with Primal. I don't know where Merit is. Merit, I think, is pushing up here. Where is Merit? Oh, Merit's on main. Overextends, gets smoked.
Actually, Merit dies, so that's 2 ultimates down and a play down for Ultra.
Yeah, okay, now starting to
sloppy.
The script a little bit here is Zeta Division with that pick, but Violent getting taken out again. Really hurts.
Oh, they get trades. Because they brute force the touch. Can someone keep himself alive? Fearless gets died. Fearless gets the kill on Vega. Recall is forced. That's huge. Bob is used. RuPaul dies. RuPaul was on the flank, sounds like. They need to get the kill here. Oh, Merit! Oh, no. There's no way. Oh, that is a backbreaker for Toronto. This is where I think it really comes down to mechanics. I think it comes down to mechanics and target focus mid fight. There's actually no way this was a toss. This was a toss. Vega didn't look like he... I mean, it's hard to know from Vega's POV, but there's a lot of... Something stinks. Something stinks.
Someone up as well. He's literally
you need to win that fight. You need to win that fight.
He's healing off the Pank passive at the moment. And for Zeta Division, a really risky situation where they had their support line traded out just before...
And the worst part about it is, like, you don't even have an ult advantage after all that. Like, at best, you're even... Ooh, this is a scary moment for Toronto. This is no space control. They need to commit to the rotator. They need to spread. Yeah, Merit gets caught in the rotation. It's a bad rotation for Merit. Oh, man. And that's because the flashpoint can be this fast, man.
The third, or rather the fourth one, going to be unlocking here in 8 seconds.
That's it.
But let's go ahead and listen into the Toronto Ultra.
Monkey close. No problem. Yeah. No. They Valerio. I'm pushing. No. Fair bind.
I don't think the follow-up's here. Oh, it is. Okay, perfect.
I don't want. Really one. Won't kill.
I'm swing.
Well, I mean, it's pretty well pincer push there. Okay, how are they going to follow it up?
Illari's one.
Illari really won. Illari really won to have it.
There's just value isn't there, man. Like I feel the dip in value once the Kiriko swap has been made, and I don't even think the Kiriko swap is bad. You just have to be hitting shots. Like you need to be knocking their teeth in with your tracer from this angle here. Like your pocket on tracer should be infinitely better. Like I see this and I'm like, bro, somebody has to die here, man. Like somebody has to die here. I don't know where Vega is, but it looks like Vega's hugging close to backline too much, a little bit. But this is not good.
Really won. Really won.
Like you have free anywhere you want to go, you can go. And like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's rough. Again, partly mechanics, but I feel.
For some,
you know, that hurts.
Just a single player there in a lot of trouble. Sugarfree at least gets
a good trade. And that's important right now because this is it. Like this is it. Like you need to go. That pulse is good enough for them to actually be able to touch point and win.
3%.
Vegas swapped because he felt like he was getting choked out. But the problem is that he's getting choked out, but then he initially was taking angles with this character, but wasn't doing a whole lot with him. And now at least that fight, it didn't feel like he had any space. He wasn't taking any space at all. At which point, there's no point playing Kiriko. So, yeah, it just feels awkward. It feels awkward now. It's impossible for me to say for sure without looking from a POV, and I don't have the POV, so. Oh, man. Even this, it's like, there's just no damage. There's just no damage here. Like, he gets slapped. It's under no threat at all. That's a Kitsune. That's a Kitsune, and he gets slapped, and he's fine. There's just no punish. And Fearless will be happy with that because that makes things really hairy for Toronto. They didn't even, like, it's an ult for an ult, and also Toronto doesn't even get the setup that they want, despite getting the pulse spawn. And now Vega dies to the off angle. And again, like, look at the setup, man. Like, look at the setup. This is like Zeta's setup at the previous map. They just don't control any space whatsoever. And so Violet is literally playing, you know, Kovacs here on the flank. Part of it is because they have to worry about touching point, but man, you can't do this, man. I could get an OPR count, but they've made it very clear that they do not want people sharing stuff from the OPR account. So I think this is it. Even with the Bob being there to buy them time, I think that has to be it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, we kind of watch the evolution of Zeta Division setups improve over the course of the series, over the course of the map, where the setups from Toronto were clearly superior, ult setups were clearly superior, a messy fight, mechanical messy fight, and then Zeta Division pretty much just controls the space from here on out. The one exception was that one point where it got really, really messy. Toronto fumbled the bag there. I think that one was very winnable, but a couple of really bad ults, a couple of really bad missed opportunities, and that's pretty much it. Zeta? Is it Zeta? I don't know, man. I don't think they like people streaming the POVs. I don't know what the case is with OBS Sojourn. But yeah, that definitely sucks there. I mean, Fearless obviously played really, really well there, but I think that even from a macro perspective there, like, Toronto got out-macroed on the last half of that map. Chasm said if he was on Ball, he would have won everything. That's how much he thinks Ball is OP right now. I think obviously Chasm's coming from a point of bias, naturally. But I don't think that he's necessarily de facto wrong. We have seen several times in the past where a character that people were not comfortable playing at a really, really, really high level is like pulled out, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, this character's really good. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. He might not be wrong. What did Polito say? I want to thank you for all your work because I got to Masters 5. Nice, dude. Nice, dude. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations. I do think that there are a lot of really high-level balls already in Overwatch League. I think Junbin is one of them, as we've already said. So I find it a little hard to believe that Ball is the most broken character ever in the history of the universe, but maybe. I think the thing that makes Ball tricky is the level of Ana, Brig, even little things like Sombra or Cassidy play is like really good and at this level. The Brigitte level of play from a backline like Toronto or the Ana play is just, they don't miss their cooldowns. They don't miss their whips, you know, and so I think that's like where, does Ball have ways of outplaying that at the highest level? Maybe, but maybe less so. Well, the curve of the curve, there will always be bronze, even if bronze players are as good as the players in this replay. Yeah, I mean, exactly. We made a video about that a few months ago, right? Like how the average player in Overwatch 2, from the start of Overwatch 1 to the end of Overwatch 1 and then going into Overwatch 2, the average player is way better. Way better. The floor is approximately the same, but even bronze is not the same as bronze in Overwatch, early Overwatch 1. Rank is relative, yeah. He said so much experience that not even Junman can know what to do in every circumstance. I mean, that might be true. That might be true. But again, I mean, that's his thing. Like when all you do is play Ball all day, then I would have a little bit of an ego with it as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's accurate with it. So, I don't know. I would have to go back and study it. So. I think ranked and pro player are very different things, but that doesn't.
Over a shorter time span. Before S9, I was nearly plat.
Yep.
Now,
yep.
I'm just barely touching where I was in S9 rank-wise. Everyone's getting better.
Yeah, it happens slowly, but yeah, I don't think ranked and pro player are the same thing. But I do think that there are some exceptional ranked players that can have impact in pro play. You know, it's not like pro players are de facto better than every single ranked player ever. Just depends on how good of a ranked player you are. Okay, let's take a look here. So, Sigma Mir, no shock here. Let's talk about the bans here. Let me pull up my thing. So, this is the funny thing. So Toronto bans Pharah because first point, was very much abuse Pharah, spam the choke, spam the choke, spam the choke, spam the choke. Alfie is insane at Pharah. You just kind of like, have you guys played Iron Man and Marvel Rivals? That's kind of how Pharah can kind of play this particular map. It's not how she plays other maps, but she could kind of abuse rocket jumps and then jump jet and just take an angle and just pound over and over and over, just constant damage, right? And so they were like, we're not dealing with that crap, bro. We're not dealing with that crap. So we're banning Pharah. But it goes beyond that as well. Because if you're Zeta, what's the first... Maybe you guys don't know these players as well as I do, but what is the most dangerous player in the lobby right now? No, there are no replay codes, Blue Sky Bat. What is the most dangerous player in the lobby right now? Yes, it's Merit. Yeah, it's Merit on Widow. Merit on Widow is illegal. He is really good. Like, really good. One of the best in the world. Top 2, 3, probably. He's insane. He is insane. So when you ban Pharah because you lost the previous map, you also stop Alpha Yi from playing, but you also protect DPS. Remember, you can only ban one hero per role. So you've prevented them from banning, because they would have banned Widow. They would have banned Widow if they had been allowed to. So they ban Pharah, which then opens up a supporter tank ban. They're not really scared of whatever someone can pull out. They think that they can just plug a tank better at whatever they want to play. And so they ban BAP. Now that's because RuPaul, very good BAP. And you could do BAP Illari, right? Hey, all right. BAP Illari, we're perfect. We love that combo there. It's fine. We're okay. Well, Zeta's like, you know what? Screw you guys. We could play Ana, we could play Zen, we could play Illari, we could. These guys are true double flex. Vega is just a main support with the thing likes to think that he can aim, right? That's a joke. So you know what? Screw you. You're not allowed to play one of your comfort picks, and we're gonna make you guys play Ana Zen. RuPaul's Ana's fine, but they probably don't have as much practice with this, right? And Vega on Zen, like, what the frick are you guys supposed to do? Like, what kind of weird hybrid are you gonna make it work? Like, it's terrible, right? Well, that's the funny thing, because I talked with Kasaurus about this, is that when they were scrimmaging doing hero bans, everybody freaking banned BAP. Everybody did. So Toronto got a lot of practice of people trying to screw them over in scrims. And so they got a lot of practice playing not BAP. And so all of a sudden, they got just the reps that they needed on a composition that they shouldn't be good at. And the results will speak for themselves.
Very well could come through. Now I was curious if Violet was going to be starting things off with that Zen.
Compositions-wise, there's no real craziness here. This is just 2 poke backlines when BAP is banned. Sigma because it's a poke map, Widow because it's a good Widow map, and the other DPS is just kind of up to interpretation here. A lot of DPS are really bad here. Echo just because you can put pressure on tanks and kind of use a little bit of the verticality because Pharah is banned. Tracer's really hard to take any sort of angles. Genji, I guess, could work here, but you don't really have consistent range heal. Genji wouldn't be terrible here, but probably has fallen a little bit out of the meta. So it's more of like he's just not as strong as Echo right now, and so on and so on and so on and so on. There just isn't really a lot of better. Now, other teams might have a different approach here, but this comp is fine.
So opposite going for the Illari.
You know what? What else got bullied? Vega on the Zen actually got bullied by Lip when they played Crazy Raccoon as well. So Vega has a little bit of redemption to do on this here. He certainly redeemed himself at the tournament.
There's the grapple shot. Merit, Flora sees it, goes, oh crap, my crosshair isn't ready, I move. He's expecting the grapple shot because Merit has grapple, or Flora has grapple. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep messing those guys up, aren't I? He's waiting for the echo. Little sticky, sticky, sticky. So really fast, the difference between the Zen and the Illari is pretty marginal. Illari is a little bit more self-sufficient. The AoE sustain from the pylon is way better than Zenyatta. And if there's like a broader angle, she's more self-sufficient in terms of putting applied pressure. But in terms of raw damage on the shield and the tank, Zen's way better. In addition to that, you have more of a chance of getting, I would say, for lack of a better term, there's just more likely of throwing a right click down the choke. There's just more damage. There's just more raw damage. There's more angles with Illari, but this map doesn't have as many of those angles available, and so on. So, yeah.
Sugarfree really struggled against Shy in this particular matchup. Got domed by Shy's Widow many, many times. Flora.
I think Violet's stuck. I think Violet's stuck. I think.
In this so far, and he's
wait.
Different play though. Flora hasn't really had a lot of Widowmaker gameplay in this times. Flora.
Oh no. I'm confused. I'm confused.
A lot of Widowmaker gameplay in this so far.
Vega gets chunked. Wait, where the frick is Vega?
A lot of Widowmaker.
Vega's just on main. Vega's just standing behind his Sigma shifting and just pounding.
And he's down.
Okay,
Vega.
well, Vega able to find the headshot, and that's going to be Flora taken out of the equation. HP bar is now quite low as something. Just going to go ahead and hover his way forward. As he overextended, goes down to 8 HP before they bail him out. A huge save to come through.
Can they catch the Sigma here? It might be kind of awkward here. I don't think they can. Yeah. There's that pincer, right? Flora!
Looking great for the side of Toronto Ultra to start things off. I mean, how many times in this tournament
Oh, yeah. Flora catches Merit. That's unfortunate. A little bit of an overextension there from Toronto. Nice rock. That denies the Bernard HP from the shift there.
Ultimate's starting to come online. Someone knows his limits.
Now, this is interesting. I don't know if this is on purpose, but someone kind of walks here and shifts, and this means that, oh, like, either look at someone or rock someone, but at the same time, they synchronize a push from Sugarfree up top.
Barely won this matchup. Has to.
And they push that with a nade as well. It's a really well set up quote unquote dive here. Oh wow, what a sleep from Finn. They need to save this guy. They need to save him. There's a nano on the catch. Trance might be necessary here. Not quite. Flora catches Sugarfree in the overextension post sleep. The Fluxus use Bernard's dead. And the Sigma differential, not skill differential, but just like the fact that they have Sigma means that they can hold the choke. Is Pharah Echo and Circuit just an evolution of the map, or the pylon too good against the game? It's the evolution of the map. Mostly Circuit is just a really bad map for a lot of flankers, so people have just tried to find like whatever character can work. I would not say that Pharah and Echo are good, they're just less bad than the other options.
Deaths coming from Flora getting kills.
Deny Violet angle. Violet is crazy, man. I think he was thinking about ultimate there, but I don't think he quite had it. You need to break pylon.
But he has to be worried. There is a sleep dart on RuPaul. There is a rock from someone.
Ah!
Either of those come through, you're gonna lose.
Again, another aggressive push here, and I like it because Sugarfree has copy here. Probably just copy whatever here. Yeah, the non-Widow DPS is tricky. I will say that the Echo, I mean, this verticality with the Echo has felt pretty darn good so far. Pretty darn good so far. So he's going to take top. He's actually going to copy Sigma. Pincer Sigma. Oh! And Bernard fluxes, but you can't shield both rocks, and so he gets accretion right in the cheeks.
Now in play from Sugarfree. Flux coming out from Bernard.
Wait, no, he doesn't. He gets slapped.
You can see there from RuPaul, and there's the dupe. Now.
Wait, Bernard, oh my gosh, Bernard jukes the sleep from, or the rock from Sugarfree, and gets slept. Poor Bernard is like, bro, I got accretion 1, I got accretion 2, I got sleep dart. What do you want from me, man? What do you want? Oh man, that sucks.
In play from Sugarfree. Flux coming out from Bernard. He gets slept again.
I mean, the key thing to point out here is that like Violet's doing his best to apply pressure from top, but he keeps getting choked out by Sugarfree, and then really, Alpha has had no space to do anything and to trade, and Bernard's losing the shield trade because he's shooting into his end. So, like, your Illari is not doing much because the Echo is getting value, and then the Echo is not really, the attacking Echo is not really getting any space. So it's like, it almost feels like a 4v5 at this point. Like, Alpha has just had the ability to do nothing, and Flora's had no space to do anything either.
Raw end of the deal there. Sticky Bomb's gonna be doing an immense amount of
like my new avatar?
damage.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Can continue.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's brutal. And that's such a cheap fight win, man, too, you know? Shutting down an ultimate, using only one of yours.
Like I mentioned earlier, there are so many threats to cancel the flux and burner.
Ooh, mirrored sights from Merit. That's risky. Wait, what happens to Finn? Dude, I don't know what Finn's doing, man. I honestly, Finn, I think occasionally his brain, I literally think his brain turns off. Like, I actually think that his brain, it goes... So they're rotating high ground. Look at Sigma and Illari. They're rotating high ground, I think, to establish a better sight line for Violet, maybe some more space for Alpha Yi. And Finn just walks in by himself. Like... point blank. Finn just walks and peeks. I don't know what the plan was here. He's right there. He's there. He's in front. Hello. You thank you for the gift of sub disable. I appreciate it, mate. Okay. Well, now one shield shuts off 1, 2, 3 people. Basically for, and yeah, that was something else.
Turns back over to Widowmaker, immediately finds that elimination and shuts down the infra site. Sticky's on to Alpha.
Wait, Violet? He gets the trade. That's fairly useful there. But the problem is are they going to stagger? Yeah, see, the problem here is not the ultimate from Violet, because you could argue that, like, hey, we get a pick for a pick here, we can get back faster, maybe. But then Alpha also commits ultimate. So now, not only did they commit 2 ultimates, but in addition to that, they've now staggered themselves so that poor Merit was actually going to be just fine, because he's going to get back by the time Violet and Alpha Yi die. Because there's the kill. And heck, they can even push. Yeah, I mean, this is no good.
Kills found, 33 seconds now remaining. And again, we're talking about how...
And we're right back to where we started, but you're down 2 ultimates.
This is ironclad.
I mean,
Alpha Yi just gives up, goes Tracer.
Only kill Merit. That's not a really high value pick at all. Merit can come back from spawn. He can snipe him.
There's the copy and the Sig. I don't like the setup there from Sugarfree. I know he's forcing the copy and Sig, but you could read this here and copy from this angle here. I think the angle's so much better. Maybe they just wanted to play it safe. Huge click there. Again, Violet gets caught. Like, it's just so much better setups from the ultimate specifically, and just fewer individual ends. That's it, man. Wow. The setups on the Echo pushes were consistently catching Zeta with her pants down. Alpha had no space. Flora did nothing and also had no space. And then Fen just occasionally decides to throw his corpse into the flames. And that's it.
A wound that's still in the process of healing. It feels like it would take a...
Oh, Kiri Lucio. Okay. This is kind of what we talked about earlier. Obviously, you have your hero is banned. I think the Ana is just for old economy here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think that the Ana is just because Kiriko might not be able to put out enough healing to keep a diva up under this amount of pressure. Bap, I think, could have been played here, but would have gotten shut down. Well, it's banned, right? And then you could just play for Neto Akira if you want to.
Level disaster class from Toronto.
Diva just matrixes, gets close. Diva just matrixes, gets close. Tracer swap, because they got the corner. I think it's just to get back faster, frankly, Alexa. But yeah, I do think that you're right, that opening up the map opens up Tracer options, yeah.
Even going to just run through with a bit of a diva dive. Merit's obviously still going to snipe here.
That stuff matters.
Taking him on the chin.
Push cart, push cart, push cart, force shift. Now we walk forward, and then someone's going to rotate up this way. They're going to put pressure on Sigma, forces Sigma to back out this way, and then we're going to get the corner battle. Once they get the corner battle, the key thing is to be able to set up your Lucio dive plus anti-nade past Sigma shield. So the Diva could either touch cart and push through this way, or they can go up and over the cart on some sort of angle here. So you kind of have to play it like a cycle of pressure that you kind of go around the Sigma here. Well, they're going to be using this corner, this bridge a lot to stage dives, up and around the Sigma. For Zeta, you really need to be able to keep your your Echo or Alpha Yi pocketed and put in consistent pressure to try to force those CDs before the fight happens. Same thing honestly goes with Violet's angle. I think Violet kind of needs to keep his pressure up high.
Go ahead and keep maintaining that HP bar, building
Bat Pharah opens up May counterpick. That's true. Yeah, I mean, you could make a pretty good argument here that a May swap here from Toronto wouldn't even be that bad instead of the Echo. But yeah, I mean, I think Nano Echo is, you know, it's fine.
They need to find an opportunity to
it might be that, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because they don't have the double flex supports. Zeta do. Discord Orb is valuable here as well. Nice kill to Merit. That
a little early.
Slowed things down, but guess what? The payload is actually still already on that corner, near the cap.
Yep, just about 10 meters left to go here.
Oh, they're going to go for a trade. They get the trade. Someone needs to go to spawn. Someone needs to go to spawn. Whoa, he gets the kill? Oh, Finn is one. Okay, so messy fight, and they just pull the trigger.
You have to be careful with these trades because Zeta Division, they have a
Floor goes Cassidy to match up better versus the composition. Sugarfree goes Tracer or gets there faster.
Situation now where Floor's going to come back on a cast. Just thinking about the tracer
and they're back
there as well. Actually, I don't mind the cast because you're playing far closer corners now, so that actually might be good. However,
and now this opens up a little bit of space on the Widow because he doesn't have to worry about the Widow duel. He just has to worry about the Cygnus spam. A little weird from someone there. I don't know if he got accretioned on the dive. No, he got accretioned and then slapped, then discorded, and then naded. Tank experience, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so he got double debuffed, double CC'd, and our Diva dies. But the good news is that Merit gets a little space off of that.
And finds the headshot. Alpha taken down. That could be the beginning of the end, but someone does get broken out of the mech.
Violet, careful.
Coming through is in for sights.
Good shot. These shots on the Bernard really matter.
Just continuing to take some of this
because it forces CDs, it forces more healing attention. He's so close, man. And they've created Tracer angle on the right side off of that Echo pick. Oh my gosh. Then the Nano. There's the Flux. There's the Trance. That's a very happy trade.
That's going to be the pull of the trigger. Sugarfree goes diving forward.
I think they sleep him out of the Flux. I think RuPaul sleeps him out of the Flux here. And so Merit dies the full stickies. Okay, they have to disengage. All right, this right now is Toronto's fight. Lip did not recently become dominant. I say what you will about Violet, but Lip did not recently become dominant. This guy's been dominant for 3 years. 4 years even.
Zeta have to be very careful with their ult economy here. They may have actually overspent on that last fight. Ideally, you don't.
Yeah, this is Toronto's ult fight to win. Beat, get on the backline, Pulse Bomb. Beat Pulse should win this, and then a Diva Bomb the remake if you need to. Zeta has to do something corny here. They have to sacrifice one of their supports. They have to set up a split. So one of the supports is going to die.
Maybe if Zeta go early and Alpha Yi does a really nice copy onto, you know, maybe even just RuPaul to get something, a nano, Byron on the back.
I like the Cassidy swap though. A little bit more immediate follow-up off of the beat. You can close the distance quickly. Wait for the beat, wait for the beat, wait for the beat, wait for the beat. Don't violate it, Vega. Don't violate it, Vega. Let's go. There's accretion. Go, 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 go. There it is. Don't stop! Stop it! Stop it, Barry! Stop it, Barry! Keep moving! Move! Nice pulse. They're good. They're good. They actually should have just kept committing there. With the speed, honestly, you just get on a backline. You literally just trade backline there. You could have let RuPaul sit behind, honestly, and just like be like, bye guys, have fun at school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it's like at that point, it's like it's almost impossible to win, and I don't think Zeta's setup was all that good either. But as soon as they see the accretion to stop the Diva boosters, they just commit. They just commit. Okay. Well, I know we tend to be a little critical sometimes. I think that's just the nature of, you know, being a coach is like you see a lot of things, and maybe you're a little too negative on things. I think sometimes I feel like a lot of my reviews are, instead of highlighting the good things, just talking about like, that was bad, that was bad, that was bad. You know, and I think that's partly because I have a way of seeing the game here, and I want to highlight I want to kind of provide the alternative viewpoint of like highlighting all the pop-off moments and being like the moments of strategic failure and strategic success. But all that being said, I do think Toronto's played real well. I think Toronto's played real well. I think Zeta, whatever the heck you want to call it, is like definitely looks shaky at times in their map losses, and Toronto's screwed up some stuff too. But I mean, Toronto has played well. This has been good Overwatch. Has it been like the greatest Overwatch of all time? No, but these are good teams. These are good teams. So these are good teams. Okay. Let's take a look here.
Don't want to be in a situation where, you know, we've seen.
Let's talk about bans here. Bans. So this one was a little bit complicated here. So Zeta initially banned Mauga because Mauga is not very good right now, but he's okay versus Monkey, apparently, especially in a map like this. So they banned Mauga to protect Monkey, but they also banned Mauga so that Toronto doesn't take this opportunity to ban Monkey, right? Because remember, when you ban a tank, you ban the role. So they don't want Toronto to ban Monkey, and they also don't want Toronto to pick Mauga. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. Pretty good ban here from Zeta. I don't know who the best player in the world is. I could give you my top 4 or 5, but I don't think it's possible to know. So then Toronto goes, "Oh, you want to play Monkey? Screw you. We're banning Ana. You're not playing Monkey anyway." So Zeta goes, "Well, frick. We don't really want to play Monkey without Ana. So what the frick do we do?" They put in Bernard. And they play Sigma. And I think this was a little bit of surprise. I think Colosseo said Source was saying he was expecting maybe a little bit more. Maybe they should have gone Diva here. They were not expecting the Sigma double poke here, I believe, if I remember correctly. I might be misremembering. One important thing to note here, and this definitely might give you guys a little bit of insight about how like important little details are. The Winston comp here is fine. Like, it's fine. You can play Winston, carry Lucio, you can play Tracer. Like, Toronto should have no problems with this. The problem here is at this point in time, Ham's voice, someone's voice, was gone. He was gone. Totally hoarse. Inaudible, basically. And he was throwing tea down. They were like force feeding him tea and anything they could do. And he couldn't call. And Toronto's composition relies heavily, their team coordination relies heavily off of someone hard calling. And so this comp on paper should still be fine. Someone can't call. And in hindsight here, Kasaurus told me that they should have just taken the Sigma Mirror, where there's less pressure for Sigma to call things in opposed to Winston. They probably could have gone Diva here as well, where you can kind of just matrix and close the distance a little bit earlier, especially with the glass gone. You can pretty easily close the distance. But yeah, TLDR is that bit of an issue. Okay.
Go back over towards
Poke comp. Close the distance comp with a hybrid poke. The Pharah is just because this is a very choke-oriented map and there's a little bit of space out here. And yeah, there's not a whole lot more to say, guys. Yes, agreed, comrade. Once the damage has been done, it's too late. Source, I sing and talk a lot.
There is going to be a dive. It's just not going to come from Zeta.
Nope. RuPaul going to be there with that Kiriko.
Also, a lot of it is technique as well. Like, I could scream a lot because I know how to scream. A lot of people don't know how to scream. So it's very vocal cord heavy, not using a lot of your other items in your throat. Okay, Merritt just dies. And that's that.
Sugarfree in like his position red.
Well spotted. Flora knew he was a Tracer missing from the map. Someone looked behind. You have a situation here as well where someone is going to instantly swap.
They go Diva. Diva allows them to close the distance a little bit more effectively. There's a little bit less kill threat, but you can close the distance very effectively. The key thing with Winston versus Diva, and I've talked about this a million times, but one more point, is Diva very good up close. Winston very good up close, but Winston's so fast. Diva not so fast. So if you can close the distance without too much trouble, Diva right now probably is a little bit better. Winston's just so fast, but this map has so much cover that in theory Diva should be able to close the distance. No problem.
Alpha East Pharah here, so that is a good swap. Winston into
also Diva versus Pharah. I mean, like, everything. You could eat everything here.
And what's interesting is Zeta are kind of mostly playing the style that Ultra have been playing throughout the entire tournament. It's Ultra that are swapping themselves up a little bit.
Accretion, wasted. Really well played there by someone. Can they choke them out? Can they choke them out? Overextension. This is like what I would like to say is just mechanics. You can't do this. RuPaul takes an angle here at the same time as someone, and Violet should die here. Violet doesn't die here, and RuPaul dies. Just mechanics. The play itself is fine. We just fumbled. The good news is that Merritt's able to take space on the opposite side. I like the pincer control here. But the problem is they're down their main support. Like, they're down their main healer here, so it's scary. Will that matter? Yes, it will matter. They're going to try and get a trade. Lots of crazy beam tracking there. It's a good try there from Toronto. Like, they really almost got their trade, but you know, I mean, I really love the proactive punish there on the Kiriko. They didn't run for the Kiriko, they shot her out, and RuPaul just gets sponked. So brave ranged pressure is how you're able to keep yourself up if you're Zeta. Illari flank, the Suzu's required. It's fine. They kite it out. Space! No! He had the space there, doesn't matter. Okay, we're good. Yeah, good use of the high ground there from Toronto. Zeta was unable to do anything with it. They used the Kitsune. Maybe didn't need it, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I hear you, Mihal, but I hear you. I hear you. I will die on that hill. I will die on the Illari and Ramatra. Freaking, I just hate those characters so much. I don't care what anybody says.
A lot of musical.
So they're going to go Brig here. And the reason for the Brig is essentially, it's too easy for these characters to close distance and cause Illari grief. Illari instead will be able to pocket everybody else the same way, that even better, honestly, and just be able to catch the dive significantly easier. So beyond first fight, it's good.
Heroes being played. We'll have to see the adjustments here from the teams.
The question, will they be able to put enough pressure on someone?
As for now,
because D.Va's really freaking good at pushing cart.
they try to get the bot out in towards the open. Difference of about 36
I think they're bobbing to isolate Bernard here.
Bob from Florida open things.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to isolate Bernard, and they kind of do. Like, it's a bob for Bob. They make a lot of noise. Do it. Do it. Lamp is used. Flux is used. Beat, pulse, engage. They need to kill now. They need to kill now. No! Okay, they get it. They need more than one kill now. They get it. That's a huge commitment from Toronto. They needed this fight win. They needed this fight win. Okay, the Flux isn't quite there to catch. They push through the BAP window. The Bobs are traded. Toronto has to win this right there.
It's just good calling here. I mean, Sugarfree's in the backline. He's telling we can dive this one. So even though the pulse misses, guess what?
So if they can keep someone up. Yes, they can keep someone up. Okay, huge fight there from Toronto. Beautiful setup there in terms of the beat push on top. Oh, maybe? No, no, no. Beat push on top. They need to clear the Tracer here, man. They need to clear the Tracer. Flank on the back lane? Did they get the push from the other side? I don't know. They need to commit. They need to commit. They need to go. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Frick, man. That's kind of an overextension from Toronto. They need to, like, once you see this, it's just like one of those plays where it's like the margin of error there. You know, if Violet doesn't have rally, if someone had micro missiles, if there was a dynamite commit in here, they're committing with a Kitsune, like any sort of damage here, and this fight's won. Fen drops down so low. That sucks. That sucks. That's just one of those things. It's not the end of the world for Toronto as well, because you're at basically one fight territory, and they do get some space off of it as well, because they just jammed everybody in the choke. But the problem is, it's like D.Va's so freaking hard to kill with your comp. Like I don't even think, like, yeah, I think you actually, if you're Toronto, maybe just stay top. Maybe just stay top. Maybe see if you get a backline trade or something, or rotate away. Yeah, that's fine too. Thanks, Lex. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, we're aware. The bird thing is hit or miss. The Pharah swap, I assume, is because of the D.Va swap. Let's watch Alpha Yi. My prediction is that he rolls out on Pharah immediately, I guess. He's... Yeah, I don't know. It might be where the fight's happening. Again, we're going back to the verticality and the choke here. It might be because of the Winston swap. It might be because of both. Might be because of both. It's good. I like the Pharah here. With where the fight's happening, it's really good. Hybrid DPS character. So, when I talked with Kasaurus, he was saying that they felt like Winston, I don't know necessarily in this exact situation, but they felt like the Winston was pretty good versus the D.Va. I mean, obviously D.Va has lost a lot of her damage versus armor, and so Winston versus D.Va is not near as big of an issue as it used to be. In addition to that, in terms of hero pool, it's something that's a little bit more up someone's... I think someone's D.Va has been fine. They're very confident in it, but it's been a little bit more up someone's alley. I just honestly don't know. I don't feel like I have a confident enough of an opinion on the D.Va swap here. He just used bomb. They've swapped to Bat Brig. They swapped D.Va. I think the Winston swap's probably fine. I think it's probably fine. Someone doesn't really duel the D.Va a lot, though, but that's the entire point, where you can ignore the D.Va more than you used to be able to and actually go to backline here. That's the point. Whereas before, that wasn't really the case. D.Va could really ruin your day. Yeah, I think it's probably fine. I doubt that swap is going to be the reason where Toronto loses.
Let's see how they fare. Sugarfree just trying
it seems like, at worst, a pretty neutral matchup for me. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, can we just admire, even in fights that are happening at the choke, how much more interesting this map feels? What I would actually like to see from Toronto is I think maybe they're playing slow for Beat or Bob, but at some point I'd love to see a bit of like a rotation through this way to try and flip the map and maybe leave Tracer behind to stall, right? Like Tracer applies pressure here and find a way to rotate into Bat Brig. And the reason why that's good is because if you can force Bat Brig to back up, then it's really easy to isolate and chip down D.Va's HP. So hear me out. So you rotate out this way. You isolate Bat Brig because they have to give you respect, all right? Ashe doesn't have a good angle. Bap doesn't have a good angle. Pharah doesn't have a good angle. Then you could turn your attention from your Tracer or whatever onto Bernard, put a lot of pressure on Bernard from 2 different angles. Bernard ends probably having to use full matrix and or use boosters to disengage. So then you push the robot further again. And now if you want to go for a dive, you've just closed the distance between yourself and the enemy team by like 5, 10, 15 meters. Right? I think you could, this is where you need to use your Lucio for rotations.
For the bots, rather,
Maybe they're just playing slow for Beat, but even with Beat, I would prefer a rotation like that to start. I think that's the plan. They're definitely playing for Beat here. There's no rally, there's nothing to catch the Beat engage, but I still want to see a rotation. There's the... What's our setup looking like? Okay, at least Sugarfree is flanking hard, but this might be a difficult Beat engage distance here. This might be a difficult Beat engage distance here. They do get Bernard's HP low. That's really good. That's really good. So they get Bernard's HP low. And then now Beat engage? Oh no, they call it off. Oh, they Pharah boops Winston. Look. So Pharah boops Winston, the open forces bubble, and that kills it. Yeah, see, that's why I don't like the rotation through this way. You need to rotate through this way, I think. So that sucks. They should be able to live this BAP window though. So that's not bad though.
With Burner having to back out, okay, it's actually going to be respect being shown by Ultra. They're not going to be the ones to do anything.
I really like the angle from Merit as well. Yeah, and here comes the Beat. They try to catch it with Bob. He eats the pulse bomb. They mirror Bob. Someone needs to live. It's just too far. It's just too far. D.Va just anchors so well.
A relative trade up here for the side of Zeta division as they continue to lock this bot in position here at the center. Rush forward, RuPaul taking it low.
Like, again, I don't think it's the Winston swap. I think that you just have to find a way to rotate. They were unable to get their Winston onto backline comfortably there. It didn't work. Even with the Beat, it's too much damage. Bernard's just way too good at managing his resources. Let's give credit to Bernard as well for really marking that one super well.
Double supports down there for Zeta division. Well played. They were able to survive against a tempo Beat, and now, like, you should win this fight in theory, but like, man, that was your fight to win there. Beat, no rally, and now Violet's gonna have rally. So even if you do win this fight, you probably don't win the next fight. Sugarfree going for a deep flank. They need to delay. They need to be in a position to be able to stop this.
We're trying to set up a pincer drop. Trying to isolate D.Va, but they get Cap.
Zeta, they got their wish. They got what they wanted. They could even back out if they wanted.
Man, even this is hard to force a fight in there. I don't think there's anybody on Zeta on high ground or Zeta on high ground. So maybe someone drops from behind. Maybe someone drops from behind. I would like to see someone drop from behind. Go to his right now and drop through the back window in Primal. Their Sugarfree takes that angle instead.
Zeta division wanting to continue on their merry way, and for now they will. The bot beginning, shield pressure onto someone.
Kitsune, rally. I'm kind of surprised Zeta used the rally there, frankly. I feel like if anything, if you're Zeta here, you just chill. You have the lead. You have Cap. Rally is your fight equalizer versus a Beat push or a Primal push. I think this is a really bad rally. I really do. Because it's so easy for Toronto to disengage, and rally is your most powerful ultimate. You do not use it to get a little bit more cart push. Ashe is just hero strengths. It's just hero strengths. I think the TLDR is that Cassidy isn't like, just doesn't do enough damage right now and doesn't deserve the survivability value isn't quite there. So yeah.
Rally's gonna roll. Zeta division wanting to continue on their.
I really like the Kitsune. I really hate the rally. The Primal seems a little early, but this is gonna cause a lot of chaos, and I think in this chaos, in theory, Toronto should win with the space that they get. They get the yeah. They should be okay. Weird rally, man. Weird rally. Rally is definitely stronger than Barrage, yes. It's just, they just don't have the damage to kill anybody through rally. Toronto do. So I really don't like that fight from Zeta at all. You did get Kitsune Primal, but you had to use your rally and you even used your bomb. So it's not great. That was a joke, everyone? Frick me, man. Sorry.
Just needs to catch up to Merit, and then the Bob can defend the point, and they can get past this and just stall things out.
Beat push top. Beat pulse. It's going to be the exact same thing that we saw previous fight. And in theory, without the rally, they shouldn't be able to live this. If it's set up well. Where's Sugarfree? Where's Sugarfree? Sugarfree is probably flanking all the way. Yep, there he is.
Sugarfree again on the
New map things.
Looking for Finn. We'll be able to identify that position, so not going to be able to come up with the...
I think they're doing a better job trying to deny it, maybe? They're ready for, like, Zeta knows what's coming.
Goods, and again, when you're trying to go for that
look at how aggressively Bernard is playing. Like, come on, shoot me. I dare you to waste your time shooting me. Early Bob, that creates enough space where Bernard should be isolated here. Ooh, that was good. They push. Vega doesn't get the beat off. Yeah. Zeta just does a really good job. That they take the angles, they posture aggressively, they do not get the space. I think what probably needed to happen was if you... Okay, so chat. Look at the situation right now. Let me describe it to you. There's always a solution. Sometimes the solution isn't easy. You've got Zeta doing a really good job denying them taking this high ground here to get up top. You have Bernard marking here. You have your Brig marking your Tracer here. So everywhere that Toronto tries to set up their push, they're just thrown in the face, right? You have Bob, Pulse, Beat. What do you do? I think there's a pretty clear answer about how you set this up. There's a pretty clear answer how you set this up. But spoiler alert, it's different from what was done last time. Beat, push high. Well, that's what they're trying to do. But the problem is they can't get up there safely. Because every time they go up top, the Lucio's transition to high ground is really awkward. He needs something. They need some more space to beat push high. The end goal is to beat push high, yes. But they're trying to get to the point to where they can do that, and they can't quite do it. Yep. I think Bob high. I think it has to be Coach Bob high. I think when you're struggling to clear top and your Tracer's getting marked really hard, I think you have to Bob push high. So this Bob here is cheeks. They're trying to get the Bob to like pull resources off the Diva, but the Diva just hides and the Bob can't literally shoot anything. I think you need to coach Bob high, hit it here, and then you're free. Either these guys die right away, you force barrage, or you beat push top. Easy peasy. Yep, 100%. So this Bob is not only bad, it's also not where it's not only unnecessary, doesn't do anything, it's also not where it needs to be. Yep, 100%. They just like Vega can't beat that, right? He's under too much pressure. They do get BAP window, which is nice, like considering that was just a fold over, but yeah. I think she can stay height. I think she can stay height as long as your Tracer is supporting from behind. I think especially with Beat, your Ashe can stay top. I think. I get what you're saying, though. I think in any other circumstance other than Beat push top, I think she cannot. But I think with Beat push top, I think she can.
It's up to Merit to try and pressure him away. And Flora still has a counter Bob. So the Merit Bob came on through. Flora decides, you know what? I can save this one.
Now, a minute and 45
in general, the Beat pushes have felt very awkward here. It's not Vega's fault. That's more of how the team is setting up for it, but they've had a really hard time connecting with Beat here. Yeah, I agree. This is where the Winston is starting to feel a little bit worse. It's been feeling more and more difficult to close the distance. So at that point, you might as well just go Diva. But yeah, I don't know. That feels a little hindsighty.
So you're gonna lose economy power here.
Tracer setting up. Tracer getting marked by Pharah.
Without neutral trades.
Tracer gets through. There's the rotation we kind of wanted to see, but Merit gets dynamite and isolated. Merit might just die here. Kitsune. Bob is used to catch. Rally is used to catch. They commit the beat. Oh, I don't know. This is why I talk about Rally. Like, all this being thrown, and there's a real chance Zeta lives this. Like, beat Kitsune Primal, like, they might just live this. It's you just can't. You can't. Rally is just too strong. Gosh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Maybe with like a different DPS other than Ashe, but like you're not gonna run anything other than Ashe. You have Merit, right? Yeah, this is it. That's the series right there. The map right there. That fight right there. Again, I will say this is where you probably should have rotated. You leave your Tracer here and let your Ashe rotate as a unit here. Instead, try to force a push this way. I know the Pharah is difficult. Maybe you could do like a rotation here and have your Ashe coach up top here, catch the Pharah with her pants down. She rotates away, and then you can beat engage. If the Diva steals cart, you have your Tracer to stop that at least for a little bit of time. And honestly, fine, sure. You need to connect with backline. I think she's going to have to come back. And if you can get them all into the room here, then we have a better issue here. I think the rotation needed to set up the proximity. You cannot have ults compensate for rotations because an ultimate to close the distance means an ultimate not used to secure the kill. You guys understand what I'm saying? So they need the Kitsune to close the distance when all they could have used was just a rotation. Yes, it is, Sarah. And I promise you the Diva does not steal cart there. I promise you Bernard peels back. And remember, we're also talking about Tracer staying with cart. So that's not even possible.
Bob out from floor, rallying out.
Every weapon rotate back into window. Alfie is still holding.
Yeah, this map is over.
And it's always going to be useful. At some point, you will forget the barrages there.
I will say that this is relatively high level stuff. The bobbing high ground, the rotations necessary. Zeta is doing a really nice job of marking these off angles. Bernard's doing an excellent job. Violet, excellent job. Alpha E, excellent job. This is not like, oh, forehead, right? We've seen games where people don't even put a Tracer on a flank before pushing, right? Toronto's really trying here, right? It's just one step below where they need to be. So this is high level Overwatch stuff right here. You got to give credit where credit is due, really. Could they run Kiri Brig instead of Lucio? No. Brig, they need the ability to rotate and close the distance, I think, if you're running a composition like this. Yeah. I mean, they're just trying. It's just a brute force. Yeah, that's it. Well played. Well played by Zeta. Really, truly. Really, really, really well played. They knew the Diva anchor and then the ability to just take space around that was like so good. They did such a good job. This is good, man. This is good. I'm pleased to see, you know, some of the errors that we can talk about from both teams, but this is not a low-level match by any means. I did not watch Nup, Lip, or Heesang to tell you, frankly. I apologize, but yeah, I did not see enough of either player to give you my opinion. I watched like 4 maps from the entire thing. And it was just because I saw Apply watching it. So I didn't really watch. Owl level? Yeah, I think so. I think this is definitely Owl level. It's certainly mid-level Owl level. From some of the Owl level matches that we've watched, this feels like top 3rd Owl performance. Yeah. I think I can say that with pretty good confidence. Yeah. I mean, these are some phenomenal teams, but it's, yeah, I think this is good. This is good stuff. Yeah, I saw XUC. Well, that's when I chimed in to Apply, and I'm like, bro, is that Moxie and XUC? Yeah, it was funny. What's the highest level Owl match you guys can think of? Has to be maybe a Houston Atlanta in the 2023 season. Like maybe a regular season game or a mid-season game. Maybe a Florida Atlanta match at some point. Like, because Atlanta was just so good. Like, so good with the Sombra, Tracer, Winston, Ana Brig stuff. Their macro execution, their timing, their team play, their ultimates, the strategy was, like, next level. And you pair them versus another high-level team at that exact same comp, and you have some of the best Overwatch we've ever seen. Maybe not the most interesting Overwatch of all time. I mean, it was Winston, Tracer, which was fun, but it wasn't. But it was, like, really, like, it was hard to find critiques. It was hard to find critiques in terms of like the way that the compositions were being played. has to be some of the highest level Overwatch we've ever seen. Maybe the highest level Overwatch we've ever seen. Crazy Raccoon got to be better than Atlanta? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. In terms of roster, yes. But Atlanta at their peaks in terms of how they're playing, I think it's probably the best strategic Overwatch we've seen in a while. I haven't seen a lot of Crazy Raccoon games, but the last time I reviewed a Crazy Raccoon game, it was really, really good. But, I mean, Atlanta just hit a different peak at that point. And there were a couple of teams that have done that. I think Atlanta and with the Briggs in, not Atlanta, Shanghai with the Briggs in, hit a similar peak in terms of their execution. I think even in a different manner, but at times London with their Symmetra May composition was much weaker, but the way it was executed was like there was really, really some of the highest level strategy we've ever seen. But yeah.
Do you think
it was also
is a throw pick in pro play? Also, did you see the phenomenal June
possibly
game?
You're talking about the OWCS Dallas game? Yeah, I saw it. Commander X is in your ear right now? In regards to what? Yeah, I mean, there are times where I think that the level of strategy has really exceeded stuff that we've seen before. Oh, Lennon Sim Comp? I don't think it was peak Overwatch. I just think it was really good strategy. I didn't even enjoy watching it all that much. I even thought Boston's execution versus London was like really good. When they ran that Orisa Bastion stuff, I hated the comp, but it was really well run. Orisa got played a surprising amount this tournament. Interesting. I mean, bans introduce all sorts of chaos, right? All sorts of chaos. How good do you think this current Crazy Raccoon roster are doing this 2023 Summer Chase Minute? Probably really good. Yeah, probably really good. Probably really good. A lot of it like has to be like the perfect storm of like personalities as well. So I don't know. I think Crazy Raccoon unquestionably has a better roster than Atlanta did, but you always have to look at it from like sometimes a roster is greater than the sum of its parts. I think Donghack was still a top tier Winston by the end of the year. But would they have done better with Fearless? I don't know. Like, Donghack served his role. So, okay. So, Toronto bans Winston. They do not want to deal with any Winston shenanigans here. They don't want to deal with Fearless again. I talked with Kasoris. He said that Zeta was running like a Winston hybrid comp here. They'd run like Winston, Illari, Pharah on first point, and it was just miserable to cross the choke. So they're like, man, I can't play with this right now. I can't play this. So they ban Winston. No surprise. No surprise they ban Widow, because first point, even third point, and second point as well. Like there's a lot of spaces where Merit Widow could cause a lot of issues. You don't want to deal with Merit Widow. That's it. Okay, let's take a look here.
I see what Zeta want to do on this first.
Toronto also has a lot of experience running Sigma on this map. So even though someone maybe not quite as good as Bernard in terms of like the Sigma mirror, someone has had a lot of practice playing Sigma here, and you know the double poke stuff. They've had a lot of experience playing this for a long time. Like this is an old school Toronto, like even going back into Overwatch League kind of a thing here. Well, not Overwatch League, sorry. Early in OWCS.
맞점이야. 딜러가 안 보여.
애쉬였어 일단.
애쉬. 가는 중.
이거 나 사이드 깔짝 도와줄게. 맞춰서
트레 같은데? 왼쪽 갈게. 민경. 트레야 이거 트레. 기다.
So that's Alpha Yi, and he's basically saying, I'm going to take left flank, like support me. I don't know who he's talking to right there.
스킬 한번 채울게. 형 가자. 앞에 한번 가자. 버스장 뒤. 민경 한번 볼게.
And that's Bernard briefly saying, I push up.
왼쪽 갈게.
They're saying 1 HP, Pharah, or not Pharah, sorry, Ashe.
시도 오나?
민경 나랑 하나 둘
They're calling for the push. They're doing a countdown.
깼어.
애쉬 반피.
Obviously calling Ashe. Ashe 1, Ashe 1. And then they also call Baps 1
애쉬
HP.
울터.
And now they're calling like a 3-man pincer rotation. They're calling chill.
볼 뺐어. 심어 쳐줄게. 일리아피.
Yeah, they're calling Illari 1. They're calling carry me. Violet gets pincer push there. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Violet there.
심어 쳐줄게. 일리아피.
Violet just gets poked out from the better position.
Ashe 1, Baptiste 1.
파티필.
Calling Ashe 1, Bap 1. Pocketing the Sigma out. They're calling reset.
야 이거 애쉬는 정면 와.
애쉬 한 번씩만 노리고 그냥 가.
They're saying that we can't take space in left side. We're getting choked out.
양가 잡혀서 못 들어.
아 까비.
They're saying they're gonna do the other rotation instead.
상대 트레라.
Gonna swap, I think.
I
think it's just a matter of swap.
이겨. 어차피 팔아라. 두 명만 이겨.
Alright,
Something
so
about
some
Pharah. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm making this up. I mean, I knew a couple of the terms that they were saying because I have worked with Korean players before for a few years, but I took Korean lessons many years ago. Ended up stopping because ultimately, like, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, basically TLR is that Zeta tries to do a rotation deep there. They get marked really, really hard. I actually think the Pharah swap is kind of cheeks. Like, I don't think that you're going to get enough space here to make the Pharah work. I do think Alpha E is going to swap here, and I think that's what he was calling. So I do think that, like, very clearly they're calling the setups, they're calling the angles, they're calling the timing. They're trying to call a 3-2-1 on the targets. Then they try to make the 3-2-1 happen, and it didn't work out. So I was half joking, but I did understand a little bit of what they're talking about. And I think Alpha E is saying that he's going to swap Pharah. I think. It just, again, the Pharah just doesn't have any space. Pharah is better in her rework at taking a space, but she's still going to be inferior to, like, just a Tracer or something like that.
There, for those of you who speak Korean, saying, let's go ahead, take that left side, 3-2-1, let's go for the peak. But
I'm surprised he's staying Pharah here.
They were looking for.
Yeah, a couple of Ashe.
He's either said he was going to swap Pharah or that he was going to do something different with Pharah. I couldn't quite tell. But yeah, memes aside, I don't speak Korean.
There coming through as well, Flora, but just couldn't quite get the final couple of shots, and you really need to get Merit down here because now the ultra.
Oh, that BAP window was juicy. They were not ready for that. That's an early tempo dive, kind of what they did on Suravasa, and what they did in Busan as well. Complete smoke, and that's a cleanup right there. That was a breach of trust, man. I don't remember giving a frick.
It was just that pick after pick, being willing to just cycle an ultimate, find 1-2 kills off the back of it, and then maintain the hold that really got the win for Toronto.
And this is another reason why Ultra probably want to get rid of the Winston, because you want to force Bernard in, knowing that the Sigma matchup is likely, and you already won the Sigma matchup on circuit, like you said. For Zeta Division, they want to play the Pharah here. That's why the Widowmaker is going. You don't want Merit challenging Flora on that, but you don't want Alpha.
Flank the RA push here. They're probably going to try and find some way to set the Pharah as a result as well.
First captive stun. No real vision here from Violet. Can't see much.
He lobs it in, but I think it might have
It's just a zoning.
been avoided. Hard to tell either way. Vega
Oh man, they're cooked,
now
man.
going to be opening up with one of his own.
They're cooked.
Grasp already going to be used. Lobs it into the back. Finds Violet immediately with the help of the bomb.
They probably didn't even need the flux.
Invested.
Yeah, this is just brutal, man. I just don't think the Pharah provides answers, man. I just don't think it provides answers. I think it's just an inferior hero. It's a character strength, but it's not good on attack.
Continue to get this hold.
It's a double flex support ultimate that doesn't do much for Zeta Division. However, this next push is excellent. You still have the capability where someone can shut down the flux if Bernard eats a rock. Flora has this bomb available as well for that touch. So trying to ultra, they have to get a pick here.
It was an old commitment here, so we could see a situation here where we bob out for space, kind of like what they were doing in Colosseo, right? Bob out for space, look for an opportunity to, like, split and make people hide, and then Bernard looks for a flux follow-up. And then once you get space, the Pharah can do something.
They don't have
So
anything to use.
Maybe?
They do have the capability for Vega and Merit to find that shot.
There's the bob for space, probably right to point.
Damage coming through on the approach.
It gets booped off to the side, but it's still going to give space.
Needing to have
They probably can't push someone, but will they be able to rotate? Yes. Tracer's making the rotation. Painful, no pulse bomb. But the bob allows them to rotate, and then Vega gets caught with his pants on. Vega.
Out of this one.
Vega! That's lame. That's so lame. He should have rotated out 10 years ago. Like, even just a top there. That's so lame. That's so lame. They try to punish the rotation there. They do get lamp out, but that's such a goofy error from Vega there.
That's not enough kills. That's not enough kills. You need
There's a Flux catch. It's going to hit Sigma. Someone will be fine. He does get dynamited, though, so that's a lot of DPS passive. There's a Pharah lurking behind, and then, yeah.
He will eventually crumble under the pressure.
Nice kill. Shouldn't matter.
Get the punish here, but RuPaul does find that kill. Quickly traded out.
Yeah, this is just... that's actually such a troll there from Vega. They were at a pretty serious ult disadvantage, so probably not a fight you were guaranteed to win, but you still had map advantage here. You just have to rotate, man.
They got 2 ultimates out of Zeta for that push, which was very now compared to circuit routes.
What?
Economy. So here we go. The Sigma Zeta for that push, which was very favorable for Zeta given the economy. So here we go. The
Violet just gets chonked.
Matchup looking slightly
Violet egos Vega and
better for Zeta now compared to circuit routes. It's going to be an early death onto Violet, but that's fine. Still early stages here for B.
Dead off the rip. Sugarfree just playing elusively. That pulse.
Alpha egos Tracer. Thank goodness.
But given the time buying, I mean, how often have we seen the clock really run down?
Mark the Tracer with Illari. Hold the angle. Bap window from top once they turn the corner. Again, Violet brute forces the angle here, I think, and gets picked on that rotation.
Not assured here for Zeta.
Yeah, 230 is what you get for capping.
Yeah, he just gets tapped, man. Like, he's getting crossfired from both angles, and Merit just doesn't miss. I think that was a headshot plus a headshot and then maybe a body shot.
Yeah, so
I can't quite tell. But that's actually such a crazy angle from Merit. Really nice stuff there from Toronto. It takes some guts to hold this angle this close if you're an Illari, but like that actually sets up that kill so nicely.
Violet, it's more reset here for Zeta. The first death on Violet was okay.
Vega dies for it.
Particularly, but it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Recall out. Sugarfree right back up into the face of this Sigma, though, trying the dash.
They pincer push off of the back to catch up with Sugarfree.
Oh my god, yeah, he's in around the backhand side. And this could be quite cool.
Weird, messy fight, man. Well, that was a deep angle. Nice shot.
And I think that this has been a bit overcooked here from the side of...
Yeah, it's a bit overcooked. It was weird. Like, the initial setup was fine. Vega dies not in the role to hold the high ground, hold the space. They kind of like deep pincer pushed. I don't know if that was to save Sugarfree or what, but then somehow they end up in their spawn. Like, I wish we had a replay code to see this, but yeah, it's a little juicer.
They're going to extend this one. They're trying to stagger the Sigma.
Oh!
But even if Alpha E dies, it's low value because it's a trace.
That was good. That accretion literally saved the stagger right there. Because if he doesn't hit that accretion, they stagger him more, I'm pretty sure.
So
but he was actually scary there, so
someone and RuPaul going for
that was hilarious.
Towards the Zeta spawn. Meanwhile, Zeta were actually winning the fight in the front, and then the slow cleanup. Ultra, at least they.
I think this is going to be an Illari mirror. I think both Illari 1 wants to hit here from Violet. I think Illari 2 is like hug the wall here and pop this way. You could, in theory, go underneath and flank around behind too, depending on how much you want to cook. And you could, honestly, I think if you're Toronto, I think you combo with Flux. I think winning this fight is really, really important. I think you're willing to throw everything at the kitchen here, just to win this fight here. So let's see how they set it up. I imagine it's gonna be an Illari ultimate trade.
Still have ultimate.
Let's see how they set it up. Poopy. What happens to the replay viewer from Overwatch 1? What happens how come we can't get codes? I don't know. So you guys want the quick story of the replay viewer? 2022. Overwatch 2 comes out. Alpha. March, April, May, June, July. Replay viewer works fine. Overwatch League replay viewer works fine. We did public replay review. In hindsight, I found out that despite me and Custa doing like Overwatch League analysis, they technically didn't want us to stream it for whatever reason. The Overwatch League replay viewer had a couple of minor audio issues, but overall was fine. No worse than the current replay viewer. Nothing said. Fast forward to 2023. They start restricting replay viewer access to, obviously contenders, whatever's, and then they threaten people, do not make content or stream third-person POVs of the replay viewer. Only the teams that had replay viewer access could use it, and this is the best part. You could not use third-person POVs. You could do first-person content for your team only. The teams are not allowed to go third-person. Nobody knows why. The organizations, the Overwatch League teams are not allowed to do it. And they also did not make it publicly available to the public. And then they lied. I don't know who they are, but they lied and said it's because it didn't function or it was buggy or whatever. That is a lie. That is a lie. It worked fine. Not only because if I know what happened beforehand, but because I was assisting a couple of contenders teams at the point in time, and I had replay viewer access, and it worked fine. They lied. Now, memes aside, I've heard a lot of mixed stories. I know we joke about like Sean Miller and the replay viewer and whatever. I've heard it's even Team 4, that it's something going on behind closed doors that we don't know. In general, ignorance leads to conspiracy, and that's kind of where we're at right now because we don't know why they wouldn't let us do it, and they also lied about it too. Fast forward to today. They still use OPR, which for those of you guys that don't know, it basically is another server, right? Because this might be played at a different patch, or the patch might change or whatever. We still don't know why it's not publicly available. We still don't know why OPR replays reviews. Now, that's a little bit trickier now. But yeah, they lied. They lied. And the lack of replay viewer is one of the top 1, 2, or 3 reasons why Overwatch esports is struggling. One of those reasons is just monetization of the esport. Esports don't make money in their current state right now. There's a lot of other things, but replay viewer was a huge source of content for both casual and professional players. It was a huge source of hype for the teams making content about their teams. And Team 4 lied about the lack of replay viewer access and then proceeded to pretend that it was something else wrong with it and has done nothing for 3 years. And it, by the way, it still works. If you had an OPR account right now, you could log into the replay viewer, pull it up right now, and find out what went wrong. And it would work fine. And it worked fine. Overwatch League esports is a cacophony of catastrophic errors of management, organization, and communication. And as much as it's improved with OWCS, the replay viewer continues to be a dark mark on the integrity, quality of the organization as a whole. It's disgusting, is what it is.
And they don't have Sugarfree.
He just get.
You would get in trouble, Herman. You would get in trouble. They've threatened action many times. Many times. They've threatened action many times. In fact, they've also said that they know the accounts that will use it if you do try to leak like replay codes, because they've had replay code leakers before, and they would take action versus those accounts. Yep. Insanity. Absolute corporate bull. Should be ashamed of themselves. There's so many, like, imagine J3, ML7, Emong, I myself, Casual, up-and-comers like Tomathan, right, who's a really great Overwatch esports channel, Coach OC. So many content creators would bring so much light to some of the great things and great players that this esport still has, and it works. It's terrible, is what it is. There's no excuse for it whatsoever, and crucially, there's no excuse for the lack of communication. It's embarrassing, is what it is. It's embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Evaporated. Must have been a headshot from Violet, perhaps.
Not only because they didn't do it, but because they lied about it. That was a real breach of trust. And the worst part about it is we don't know who to blame. Something stinks. Something stinks. And we don't know. We have no idea. It's terrible.
In the front,
okay, Illari trade. Sugarfree dying here is pretty bad. If he just gets smoked right from this angle here, just a goof up, right? I mean, we don't need to communicate that Shubu time. You could do the. There's no way that you can. There's no way that we can. I don't know what the avenue would be because we don't know who to ask, and we don't even know why. So it's a shame.
Don't have space, and they don't have Sugarfree.
They're going to commit, though.
Evaporated. Must have been a headshot from Violet, perhaps. Now Captain Sun going to...
Terrible Bob. Bob whiffs it. Yeah, the Bob needed to go through, and it hit. I also don't even like the Bob. I would have preferred the Bob to go through top. I think it could have made that rotation safely. Yeah, maybe you're right, PK. I'll make a note. I don't think there's anything that I can do, frankly. I can try. Why not? Because you can't be picky about how you bring eyes onto your esport. But, yeah. No, yeah, it's not any of the developers, to my knowledge. That's not what I've heard. It's not any of the developers that I've heard. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Don't have Sugarfree.
He just got evaporated. Must have been a headshot from Violet, perhaps. Now,
That's such a sick eat from someone, man.
the Sun going to be traded out here on both sides, but someone gets to eat. Violet's denied.
I mean, that's a huge play.
Mortality field to try to
Someone also rocks Bernard. Somehow they managed to win that HP trade. Like, the Bob fumbles it badly, and they're down Sugarfree, and Toronto finds a way to retake that space, man. That's incredible.
Low, both taken down. Someone finding the one.
It might have something to do with the sponsors. The thing is I understand that the replay viewers, like, there's probably something that I don't understand. I'm gladly willing to admit ignorance, all right? I'm frustrated, and I could be angry about it, but I'm okay. Maybe there's something that's goofy, but they have to communicate it with us, guys. I just, like, you can't not say anything, man. You can't pull a resource that we've had for 3 or 4 years, right? A resource that crew is an endless supply of content and educational resource, have it still work and then lie about it. Like, you can't do that, you know? You can't do it.
Merit with the other. Violet now at risk, just trying to make his exit. Don't think he's going to be allowed to.
It's multiple times.
Great retake by Toronto. They had no...
had his one here eaten away, but even on A, you know, the captive Sun exchange away from it so bad for Zeta Division as momentum shifts. High ground control by Toronto Ultra. They have got ultimates coming online. Zeta Division still have ultimates to play through, but they have to push into Ultra here first.
Oh, this could be fat. This rotation is this like little area right here is a really easy way to get flux, because supports will stack around this corner. Violet might just be dead here. Violet should be dead. Oh, what a shield, Bernard! Holy crap! Wow! What did you guys see that?
Down.
No business living that.
Pulse bump from Alpha going to be going wide here into the back lines.
Oh my gosh! What was that?
Mortality field there to greet his pulse bump from Alpha going to be going wide here into the back lines.
Oh, that stinks! What is that? Holy cow!
Wide here into the back lines.
Ah!
Pulse bomb lobbed in, stick going to be found. Flora taken down. Sugarfree
Lamp Forest off the flux.
He still managed to find
He needed that. He really needed that one, because Zeta Division were about to slam.
What a play!
Big ultimates, Bob and Flux online. And
exactly what Avril was saying right there, that they needed that pulse. Like, that was a big ult combo there.
So now the reset,
can they force Ree? They can.
Climbing back the hill on RuPaul.
So that puts the pressure off the cart. What are they going to do versus this Bob Flux? They're going to have to give top. So here's what I think. I think if you're Toronto here, you know that you don't have ults here. I think you posture as if you're holding this high ground, but you kind of bait them to use at least one, preferably 2 ultimates to clear top, and then back and take the fighter on cart here. Yes, you got Bap window. Yes, you got Illari ultimate, but it kind of evens things out. I don't think you can force top with this.
Mostly better used than Zeta, as time is about to run out as well.
Yeah, see, this is fine. Someone can absorb a lot of it as long as nobody but someone gets hit. Oh, they get the Bap window early. They just go. They catch the rotation, dude. What is this? This is insane. The flank from Illari and the Bap window, they just nail it. And Finn had window there.
The touch there, Finn.
So they flux Bob, and then RuPaul just runs. That's the best part. Look at RuPaul. Bam!
The touch there.
Run!
Immediately.
Does he get the lamp? He does.
Just to a conclusion here now.
That's insane. Again, like another situation where Toronto knows the ult situation. They know the ult situation and they make appropriate play. You had 2 choices there. You had either what I said, which is play it really careful, play it really slow, try to bait 2 ultimates and kite it, or just take greedy angles and just chaos. You're going into a double ult disadvantage and they make it work. It's the same thing they did in Busan. They did it again. Wow. Yeah, that was impressive. 10 inches, I think it's because it's the clicky roll. Everyone likes the mechanical clickies. I agree with you. I think the DPS. Oh, chat. Okay, I'm not gonna leak. I get a lot of DMs. And I get a lot of DMs, more DMs than I'd like to get, because a lot of them are like kind of honestly weird ideas about game balance and like hero reworks and stuff like that. And I don't mind it. You know, we'll sometimes break them down on stream, but I get a lot of them in them. You know, I always try to make sure to be polite and put them in. Then we'll check them out maybe, and But I got a DM yesterday from an Australian fan, and no, the suspense is not going to be relieved. Just FYI, I'm going to rain in your parade, because he had an idea about tanking that I had not thought about ever before. And he was like, "You need to make a video about this." And I'm like, "Oh gosh." So I read it. I'm like, it's like, what's the Ratatouille scene when he's eating the ratatouille and he his eyes like white? Dude, I was like, whoa, that's actually a really cool idea. I didn't think about that. That's actually a great point. So we're going to talk about it at some point, maybe later this week or next week. I never thought of it the way that I'd never heard it. But yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So there's your suspense. Enjoy it. Just wallow in the misery.
Pharah playing left side. I'll go right.
There's the Pharah hybrid that we talked about, minus the Winston.
Here you go. Illari literally close, really close left side.
Back there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take right side.
Illari's peeking far left.
Peek him, I'm gonna take
Yeah, I
right
can
side.
pick.
Yeah.
Do you notice that they're playing a poke comp and they're treating it like dive? Do you notice that? Every comp, poke or dive or brawl, is off of timing. 3, 2, 1. Sigma pushes on main. They push the angle at the same time. There it is right there. Did you hear that? Listen again. How come this team failed in Dallas? Because pressure, unlucky meta, communication. Like, no team performs consistently. No team. Listen.
Back there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Ham
right
calls
side.
it perfectly. Listen.
I'm gonna take
Yeah, I
right
can
side.
pick.
Yeah.
I can peek.
3, 2, pick man.
Camera left. I'm behind.
And there it is. Rotation succeeded. Now, the problem's not solved. You still have to do the next step and the next step. But hey, that's great.
Yeah. Ashe looking at me right now. Ashe shift. He's just looking at me.
Go.
I'm inside right now.
Yeah. When Lenny can set up.
Yeah, I'm set up. They're pushing me. Point.
Do you see it? Are they set up? Are you set up? Because you know what they want to do is someone wants to take an aggressive push on the Sigma while there's a pincer from the backline. Listen. They didn't quite push in time, and so Sugarfree gets caught. Timing is off just by a little bit.
I have angle.
I think someone also took maybe a little bit too much damage right before the push.
Heads up.
I slow.
Back.
Reach.
You hear how quiet he is, how hoarse he is?
Yeah, I'm gonna go left that side.
Okay.
We chilling main, okay?
Their L'Oreal is gonna be really soon. Save your shit.
It's impossible to be inconsistent? Yes. There are consistent teams and inconsistent teams. Inconsistent teams are like this. Consistent teams are like this. You get what I'm saying? And occasionally, right? It's impossible to be inconsistent. You get what I'm saying?
I'm ready to make mine.
I think my window a little bit fast.
Yeah. Okay, shit. 3, 2, okay, shit. Shoot.
Again, the setup, the timing, everything is done off of its call.
Back there, no shield.
Let's have left. Pharah inside here.
I'm going to
Yeah.
So they're actually setting up their Sigma, their EDR in the far left. You see that? So they're doing the far rotation, and now they're going to get crossfire in the enemy Sigma. This is a pretty interesting, it's a risky setup, but it's pretty interesting here because it makes it really hard for Bernard to hold the corner without getting sandblasted.
I can win.
I'm
All
I'm gonna
right,
window.
So far, held at bay here are Toronto.
They actually rotate out. They give up the space. The rotation gives them the choke for free.
Ultras in a division doing a good job of running down the clock. Nearly
One
half the time,
shot.
they're gonna be
Good shot from
eliminated.
Alfie on the angle, though.
Will fall, but it's going to be a trade out here on the Ashes as Alfie finds his mark.
Can they catch? They need to clear this. This needs to be cleared. I think that's what they're doing right now.
Finn still holding on to ultimate, still ready to pounce with that. And Alfie, he's been a problem. Has a barrage nearly available. Nearly died there, but still alive. Captain's son from Violet. This one needs to hit.
Sending it, and it
He
does.
hits it.
Catches that immortality field, but Violet able to find the neutral kill onto Vega all the same. Someone now crumbling in Zeta Division, looking
That's tough.
immovable
You know,
so
hitting the
far
ultimate
here
there
on this
first.
Defense. Precious time.
Winning the Sigma matchup, and they have a lot to play through. If they can just get to B, they can have a really good chance of winning this map. I think Alpha Year has actually been a bit of a
Midtown is tough, though. There's no real reason to panic here if you're Toronto, because Midtown is a very difficult point to break.
Now,
Illari plus Tracer combo back again.
Bob, the flux nearly there.
There's the bot. Oh, what a
Down
setup.
below a minute and a half remaining. Full
Look, Merit top. They're going to push with Bap Sig here. Illari controlling pressure, applying pressure with Tracer from here, while Bob comes in through here.
Bob, the flux
I love
nearly
it.
there.
And the dynamite. Oh, yes! And Sigma's running it down.
Up as the dynamite flies. Merritt looking to try to open
That's
things.
it.
Finn is completely
What a
caught
setup.
between a rock and a hard place. He
And
will
Bernard
get
tries to
down.
clutch it, but no way.
Pulls the trigger on that
Nice.
flash. No HP.
Huge setup, man.
Defense, get away from them.
That was such a good play.
Goes through train. That's where Finn was going to be hiding. I mean, Zeta Division have players on that high ground, and it initially looked like a weird ball.
I'm glad to hear it, Kakashi. Man, that Flux hurts too. Like, you would want to hold this early with Flux. That was such a nice setup there. You know, I think one of the analogies that we talked about, I want to bring it up again, is it's a lot of it is Overwatch is Sudoku, right? There's always a solution. There's always a number to plug in. There's always an angle or an approach to take. You just have to be able to recognize it in the moment, and that's an extremely difficult skill to do, right? Not to mention actually executing the play correctly. If that Bob didn't happen, do you think they still would have won? I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, even if the Bob doesn't get kills there, it still creates the space for Merit to take the top and gets them out of the choke, which is the biggest problem there. So I think, regardless of whether the Bob gets kills there, I mean, it's a pretty good chance that they win that fight.
Unexpected.
I mean, Ashe dies up there if she doesn't have Bob, but she wouldn't have gone up there if she didn't have Bob, right? That would never have been the play without Bob.
The train and Finn caught with his pants down.
Yeah, I mean, just got stuck on the far side of the bomb. Couldn't get his way out of there. And then Bernard, a puzzling use of the flux there, to say the least.
Oh.
Alfie couldn't get his way out of there. And then Bernard, a puzzling use.
I think Sugarfree just sneaks up behind and catches Alpha Yi again with his pants down.
To say the least, is Alfie going to be taken down? Sugarfree finding the
Vega
opening there.
with Tracer. Ooh, that's a good one.
It's the connection. Has to be a bit of a drop back here as Finn taking
That's
low,
it.
surviving for
There's
now.
the lamp.
Means the burst will not kill. Immortality field
There's
has to
the
be used
shift.
finally. Similarly,
Snowball
suffering quite
potential
some
there.
damage here.
Great
It's
shot
not
from
good.
Vega.
They work their way up onto the high ground, but this is firmly for the
Bob is using response. They don't quite get the lamp.
Answering back, having a different idea.
Oh, that's a
Finds
huge
headshot
creation there from
beginning down.
Bernard.
Vega cannot
Okay.
survive. His floor collects his
Great
second.
stabilization there from Zeta.
Point blank. Has that barrage, but also can hold on.
Thoughts of the Twitter beef between RuPaul and Liar? I mean, they're both right. They're both right. Liar is not great, you know, like he's like, you know, he's a fine player, but like main support in an A sucks, you know. But at the same time, like, it was kind of, the Adam tweet was kind of lame-ish. He wasn't wrong, but you just don't bite the hand that feeds you, you know, like the NA region that supported you and competed with you and apparently had the whole collegiate thing, which like was putting their players up. I think Adam was trying to hype up his own team's performance by explaining like the difficult context with which they've played. But it's basically like the rules, like you never try to put somebody down, you try to put somebody up. And I know the irony of me saying that, but it is true. You got to be really careful when you say stuff like that. It just wasn't well communicated, I'm going to be honest.
They only need one good fight.
They're not wrong. Gator wasn't wrong. Adam wasn't wrong, but it wasn't communicated well. Sugarfree gets caught off there.
Down this next volley, Sugarfree will fall. More time for Bernard.
Where the frick is my mouse? Okay.
Build up that next flux, the match against some leadership for Zeta Division as they look to continue this.
I mean, all of this delay is important for all the reasons you listed, because Zeta Division, they
Very aggressive angle here, probably because of the ultimates that they have. Someone's getting crossfired, dynamited as well, disengaged, they poke Pharah out, the angle is completed from Illari, Tracer wrapping all the way around, and they're forcing point with Tracer. So then they have to rotate away. The flank dynamite from Merit, not quite there, he doesn't have Bob, he needs to be careful. They were trying the same play there, did you see that? Yeah, they're gonna do it
What's the
again.
high ground board, maybe?
Honestly, you could just bob here. Just get floor out, get your Ashe here, burn the high. I think you combo that with either a Bap window or Flux here. I think you just win. There's just the bob. Yeah, there it is. There it is, right? There's the bob Flux. Get floor out, Flux, whatever here. Honestly, even if it's the enemy Sigma. Oh, he catches the Pharah. Oh, they don't get the layup off.
He gets caught by that, and Finn gonna be taken down.
Wait, what happens with the bob?
Flux now out here from someone. He gets caught by that.
Okay, so Bob does off angle here, which is good. But the Bob actually whiffs Flora, who then retakes the angle and kills Merit. Violet gets it off on Vega, who, where is Vega? Vega's on point. Yeah, Vega gets caught with his pants on. Vega gets caught in the open. So 2 mistakes there for Merit and Vega, but I think this should still be it. With the Bob off angling, it should be it. Pharah should die. That should be it. That should be it. It's well played. Well played. I think pretty solid stuff from both sides. Toronto just maybe a little bit better with the some of the play setups there. So, yep. All right, we'll pause. We'll take a little bit more of a break, and we'll talk bans, and then we'll answer questions, and then we'll get back in for map 6. Do you think Ultra beats Falcons? Kasoras thought that they could have beaten Falcons because he thinks they had a pretty good matchup versus the Diva Rush stuff. Hey, Danny. Which seems pretty reasonable, you know. But honestly, it's hard to say. But probably had a much better matchup than versus Crazy Raccoon, yeah. What do you think of our bans this series? Bro, did Kasoras not tell you? Kasoras, I sent Kasoras a message and I was like, hey, can I pick your brain on some of the bans? Because I didn't know how the ban system worked. I didn't watch any of this event outside of like 3 or 4 maps. And he was like stuck in Cairo. He's like, yo, let's get in a call. So we just sat there for like 40 minutes and he broke down the bans. I liked him. Yeah, I mean, I even before he explained his perspective, looking at them, and it was pretty clear that there was like the logic behind everything. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. He said that you were basically on the headset 24/7, like in the backstage, just like yelling at each other mid-map. So, makes sense. I'm trying to think if there was any ban that I didn't like. I'm not as familiar with the meta. I mean, obviously the whole Suravasa thing, you can't really care. You can't really about that. I just don't think I can really nitpick any ban. What did you guys ban on Runasapi? I guess the only thing you can maybe nitpick would be
looking forward to this map, hoping to see some high-level brig play.
You couldn't ban Winston. I'm trying to think if there's any mind games that you could have played with the ball ban. Would be the only one. Because I know why you're doing it. You're protecting Sigma. But if there was no chance of them playing Fearless, I don't know. I feel like they played ball with Fearless in the last series. Okay, so I didn't know that. I asked Kasoras and he was like, nah, the ball was like whatever. We didn't really expect Fearless to play ball. You wanted Bernard in for map 7? Okay, that makes more sense then. That makes more sense. Because it's not like Fearless is gonna. Yeah, I mean, I think the bands all seem good. Sup, thanks for the bits to sync. Yeah, the Ashe ban makes total sense. Like, even before I knew about the mirror ban, like, if you're going to ban any hit scan for Flora, it makes sense to ban Ashe. Like, he's not going to compete on anything else. What's wrong with Falcons? I mean, could be mental, could be strategy, could be synergy, could be communication. It could be that those players just aren't as good as Raccoon. There could be a million answers, really. Very rarely is any roster as good as you think it's going to be when they combine. That's just how it goes. Merit better on Ashe, yeah, but Merit's even better on Widow. You get what I'm saying? I feel like that's the case. So yeah, I mean, I think Danny, like given the series, it makes total sense to me. I was shocked that they went Dorado here, man. Like that, I will say that was, they must have had some scrim bucks to pull along, but the Ilios pick, I was talking with Colosseo, makes just infinitely more sense. Even if you want to force Winston on a brig, maybe they were scared of Ruins. That's the only thing I can think, right? Like Ruins could be a little messy. Maybe they thought that you guys were like, that you had some like cheese swap to pull out, but like, it's ironic that you guys are the team going, man, why didn't they go Ilios? But yeah, I don't know if it would have changed things because they won either way, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, chat, before we keep going? So far, so good. Again, I feel like the level of Overwatch being played right now. Danny, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like at least with EWC, the level of play feels like top third Overwatch League, even though I feel like the level of scrim quality might have been a little bit messier. But like leading, this has felt like a higher level Overwatch than we've seen since OWC has started, in my opinion. You get what I'm saying? I felt like in terms of some of the planning and some of the space control, it just feels like it's pretty good. Feels maybe the best Overwatch we've seen since Overwatch League ended, which is nice. Because even at its peaks, OWCS was like, it just wasn't Overwatch League, man. Which is surprising given the bans, right? Like there's so many more variables, and I still feel like it's been played okay. You know, I can't watch this. They banned my girl Illari. Hey man, listen. There's been a lot of Illari played, so you'll have to learn to deal with it. You'll have to learn to cope with it, Kyle. You have to dry your tears, man. Yeah, sorry, man. Okay, so let's talk about bans here really fast. It's pretty straightforward here. Toronto wants Widow on this map. It's phenomenal. Widow's great. Widow's good in almost all points without exception. Crazy sightline control. Sombra's not as meta. Ball's not meta. So there's just not a lot to contest Widow right now. Even with a Winston, it can be hard with how big this map is. Merit is phenomenal at Widow. So you're going to play Merit on Widow, and you're going to say, hey, Flora, you can't play any hit scan unless you want to play Cassidy or Mirror Widow. And Flora's like, frick, man. So this is probably where Zeta's going to go something with, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with Flora's performance. Danny, maybe this is a question for you. Should they just not do Widow Tracer as well and just bite the bullet? I don't think I trust Flora on Tracer. I think I'd rather have Flora on Widow and just avoiding the duel than putting him on Tracer. No? Like, I know, like, you could just run Echo Tracer with Alpha Yi, but I don't know. It's close for me. I'm almost feeling, I don't know. Obviously, those guys have the scrim insight that I don't. Like, those coaches have way, but it feels like Widow Tracer better than Tracer Echo, and yet in the rollout right here, it makes me feel like Tracer Echo is going to happen. For Zeta's ban, this is just basically they want to force Toronto onto Ana Brig because they just don't have a lot of faith that Ana Brig RuPaul Vega is as good as Ana Brig Finn Violet, and they're probably right. I don't think the gap is that big, at least with this support backline. I don't think Finn Violet's that much better than Vega, RuPaul, and Ana Brig, but there is a bit of a gap here, and so basically they're just going to pull Toronto into a dive mirror, which is not terrible because you have, I think, the better DPS line for the dive mirror with Toronto, and someone's Winston's great, and I think RuPaul Vega are fine too. Definitely the best Western Ana Brig in my opinion, but you're going to have backline advantage. I'm going to give Zeta frontline advantage with Winston. I think DPS advantage Toronto is going to be close. Kyle, I'm not going to lie with you. Within the competitive environment, professional environment, I really like them. I think this has to be a quick play hacked or a competitive hacked at some point in the future. I don't know how it would go in. I think post Juno, I'm more flexible with it because I think the support cast is a lot more expansive. I'm cautiously optimistic for actual ranked play. I'm very optimistic, cheers for Ashe, for actual professional play, if that makes sense. I think it's made it really interesting to watch for professional play, and I think it's certainly worth trying at some point for competitive, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think Overwatch could really do bans up until recently because of the support cast has been way too limited prior to Juno. But I think now you have Juno, Kiri, Ana, Bap, Zen, Lucio, Brig, Mercy, Moira, Lifeweaver. I think that's a pretty good. I think there's enough there. What backlines do you think Toronto plays better than Zeta backline? Bap Illari is close. I think the Bap advantage might be Toronto, at least right now. I think Violet has had a great Bap, but I put a little bit more faith in RuPaul's Baptiste right now, I think. But yeah, I don't know about ranked ladder doing bans just yet. But it's certainly something worth trying, in my opinion. Hottie would be in shambles with hero bans? No, I don't think so. I think definitely the SSG roster would be weaker, but I don't think Hottie is any less flexible than his teammates. I think Ryan is fine. I think if Orisa was something that he would need to play, he would do fine. I think Ball, he's fine. Winston's fine. He's not outstanding on any of those characters, but I think he's fine in all of them. I think he's a little underrated in them. I think with SSG, it's more about like how often that team is not just limited by hero picks, because I think Backbone is pretty inflexible. I think Landon's not super flexible either. I think Funny Astro is also not super flexible. I think there's just a lot of SSG is not super flexible. It's not any one player, really. You know, and I think in addition to that, how they're coached and how they've been played historically, and I've worked with those coaches, is very much they want to solve the game. There's not a lot of like, let's take angles, let's open things up, let's try this, let's do this. It's mostly like kind of like set rotations, set plays, rock, paper, scissors. And if something is not as easily solved, they're not going to be able to rely as much, which, you know, is both a good and a bad thing, right? Okay.
Merit into Flora rather, but it's actually gonna be
Yeah, the Backbone Man circuit, that was one map I went back and watched just because of what I heard. Always a pleasure to watch them play Baptiste. Is it just every team has one hero they can ban? Yes. And then that role is locked. They can't ban it again. Go back to the start of thing after today and we'll talk about how we do it. Okay. Finn gets naded. There's the Echo Tracer.
Cheeky little attempt on the Mercy boosted Widow shot, not going to come to fruition. Only thing they were able to spot was Vega's shield on that Brig. So
Mark Cart should be very difficult to push Cart here. Do you notice that someone does not go back and bubble the Winston off? He controls the space, control the DPS, control the backline. Even he greeds his bubble there. They force Widow, or force bubble, excuse me. Ooh, what a nade. Holy crap, Finn. What a nade. That loot gives a lot of space out there. That like bank nade off of there. Wow.
Success on the Tracer so far this tournament, and because he doesn't want to play the Widowmaker into Merit, this is now an unfortunate situation composition.
So what angle can Alpha Yi take that Merit cannot see? This section of the map is where Widow is really exceptional. I don't know. It just feels like a lot of Toronto just hasn't really had a lot of room to breathe. I feel like the Merit Widow hasn't been performing as much. There hasn't been as much space. The bubbles have been forced pretty early. Okay, never mind. And he needs to take top now. He needs to take top. He needs to grapple top right now. He needs to grapple top. Thank you. Huge shot. Yeah, the thing with the Widows, it's not just the headshots. You need body shots. Like, you need consistent pressure onto Echo or Ana or Tracer. You have to force cooldowns with your body shots. Like, something has to be pressured. Like, stuff like that. Really annoying. I think that just forced recall right there. Now, what you'll see sometimes... Yeah, okay, I was just about to say. What you'll see sometimes is the Echo will flank from Mega left side. So sometimes you'll see Widowmakers will put their Venomine here and then look to grapple this direction if they get in trouble. But obviously, Emphasites does that job better. So now he has to rotate all the way back. It's a little early. But, you know, I just don't like this dive from someone at all. I don't like this. They're trying to push off of the Infocytes, but that's just a bad dive. There's just no follow-up. It's too deep. Sugarfree isn't staged. He's just running it down main. Backline doesn't have any space. I think you pop the Infocytes and you just take the time. If they full disengage, that's it. That hurts. That is a fight losing. Wait, what? How did Violet die? It sucks. That's actually such a bad play. That should have been that's a point, almost a point losing mistake there from someone. He gets the trades, though. Gets the trades. I don't know how he did it, but they get the trades.
With Toronto Ultra, but ultimately is going to be met with sleep once more and taken down by someone.
Yeah, I know what the idea was. It was that we have Infrasight, let's go early, but you can't, it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. Sugarfree dies to Sticky's frick. You can't do that far. You can't push through that choke. There's the Venomine that we talked about. He's going to force the copy. There's the deep. He copies Ana. Does he nade backline? He tries, but it doesn't go off. So that's actually pretty big there. Can they keep the Widow alive? I don't think they can, but now they don't have Primal, so someone's on an island and is in trouble. Or no, he's not. He's with his team. And that's it. He's dead. I don't know what happens there. Does Vega get naded? Yeah, Vega gets naded. So Nano, Vega walks in the nade, and they just die. That sucks. Sucks. I will say as well. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a really good solution here. Like, once you lose this space as Widow, comp playing into this, especially when there's, you have Rally and they have Nano, Primal, Ana still on high, it's over. Like, it's over. You can't lose this much space playing Widow. Once you lose the space, you don't get it back. You don't get it back. Now, the good news is that this is where Widow levels up again in terms of value. Echo Comp can take angles and shoot cart onto the Winston, but Widow can just honestly do whatever she wants, really, here. Widow peeks from here. Bam. Vin's dead. So much space being cleared by this Widowmaker. The tank, for real. Like, there's just so much space. Like, look at that. Bubble Forest, Ana dead, team's rotated back, someone stages all over here, all behind the Widow sidelines. Early pressure here from Merit, and then he'll rotate back once he gets under a little bit of pressure. Ooh, a little greedy there. Bubble is used. There's sights, and then they're going to push cart, I think, now. Yeah, they push cart. So they're, like I said, they pressure cart because Fearless can't contest anymore without Bubble. Sights used. Up and over. Infrasights allows Brig to hit that whip shot. Brig is low. Violet is low. Violet gets caught. Infrasights, again, creating the space to set up dives. At this time, it's not nearly as overextended beyond chokes, though. Merit is a little close. Merit is a little close, but the pocket's there.
If Zeta do not cap B, then they don't really have a shot at winning this map because on the attacking side,
dive. Primal is used. Merit needs to rotate away, and we need Sleep Dart. They hit the Sleep Dart, crucial. Even with only 3 seconds, I do not like that anti-nade at all. That's a terrible anti-nade. You should just save it versus Primal. It doesn't matter, just in case he follows up on you. They take the top off of that Primal Raid trade. Now Merit's rotated out top. We need a Nano Winston on the backline. Nano. Holy frick. Can he live? He cannot. So let's talk about this. I'm a little confused at the jump this way. It might be just that was the Ana LOS, that all he had. And I think this is a little bit too long chasing the Ana. You guys see that? He needed to turn on the Brig faster. Because as soon as Ana's outside the bubble, you do not chase anymore. You immediately turn back onto the Brigitte. So he's a little slow with that. It's a nice rally. It's a nice peel. They don't quite get the follow-up, and the nade needs to hit. The nade does hit, but the rally is still active. And honestly, in general, they're like, again, they're playing just outside of Merit's sightlines. I love this angle from Merit. This is the only way they clutch this. The forces copy. Even if he dies there, that's not the end of the world. I'd be curious to see where maybe, I don't know, man. It's hard to say there. The tank trains on card have gone really poorly for someone. Hey, what's up, Meow? Oh, and Rally was used as well. But then he peels back, he dies anyway, and there you go. Yeah, is that they're doing a much better job peeling and protecting, and actually punishing as well.
over towards the Cassidy now. Zeta Division have a really good shot. They got past the difficult part of the map. They defeated the Widowmaker finally. Caught a situation where they can actually win the game. Again, A and B.
Goes Cassidy for third. I like Cassidy for third, especially versus the composition that you're playing. The Echo angle is still brutal. They're trying to take top. I don't know if they're going to be able to succeed super well. They don't have the ultimates for it. They do have the Cassidy, but the Echo off angle might be tricky. They're able to rotate it. They're going to force cart. But honestly, now if you're Zeta, I think you retake top again. I think you have the ultimates for it now. Like, you have Primal now and Pulse. I think Pulse is not as useful because you can't really force top with it, but you can Primal here, and I think you go for this kind of a push. That's like the classic push on top here, and I don't think Toronto has anything. Maybe they track Nano, but I think this is where you go top. They're not going to do it. They're just going to brute force it. And Merritt, slow in the rotation. He doesn't roll. Oh, he gets full stickied. He gets full stickied and gets nuked. The pocket isn't quite there. The pressure isn't quite there. Flora gets slept. Huge sleep. Vega gets caught off. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, like, clearly what's happening here. Like, it looks a little bit like, I think Ana gets whipped off. Yeah, so I think RuPaul gets whipped off, and then Bubbles used the zone backline, but they don't really get any cooldowns out of it. Like, what happens here from someone? It's not the best bubble, right? Like, it doesn't really force any CDs. It doesn't even force a bubble trade. So then Zeta's able to push back in with full CDs. They catch it. RuPaul's not on top. The Merritt's not able to roll, and time gets full stuck. No, they don't have codes for EWC. You have to have the replay viewer, which we don't have. Fearless Primal. He needs to live. Someone does not use Primal gets slept, I think. Oh my gosh, he gets slept at 99%. Oh my gosh, someone gets slept with Primal right before it goes off. Nano is used. Pulse misses. That Pulse would have been fight winning, but he doesn't hit it, and that's it, guys. That's it. Ouch. It's a mess. It's a mess. Really messy backline stuff from Toronto, both on a Brig. It just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. The ults follow-up were messy. The primals were messy or didn't happen at all. Even the nanos got traded. They're doing a really good job catching the aggression from the nano and then punishing it with rally. It's messy, man. It's messy. Yeah, Finnis played well this series. Yeah, Fearless has played well. Cassidy's fine here. I think we'll probably swap off the Widow on second point once there's more space. But it gets a little bit more of a brute force rotation because it's a much more congested sightline. Are they going to try to go top? I think so. Maybe not. Okay, so they choose not to go top. They're going to force cart for a little bit. There's the anti-nade. Someone has to get out. Someone is... What? He lives. Okay. Yes, Zeta picked this map. Yes. Again, looking for a rotation on top. Maybe. They recognize Tracer's isolated, so they're trying to force a recall. They're unable to do so. The rotation. Sugarfree needs to be really careful right now. Sugarfree needs to be really careful right now. He is totally isolated. He is careful. He hides. Then he goes to point once they get top. They're waiting for anti-nade. Now, you notice here, they're not actually rotating until they either get their Winston to be able to put pressure on backline or they see anti-nade. Because Cassie can live in anti-nade. He can roll out, get shielded. He's okay. Not the end of the world. If they get anti-naded here, they're dead. Anyone more than Cassidy. There's the bubble jump. They hit someone with it. What an adjustment from Finn. So Finn goes, okay, you're not willing to rotate? Screw you guys. I'm nading your front line, and now your tank's dead. And because someone has used jump, someone is dead. Nade is good. There is a possibility for trades here. Violet gets a little bit cheeky with it. Flora dies because recall is forced. Sugarfree is on cart. And because Sugarfree has cart, maybe it's not that deep, but regardless, Sugarfree has probably Inspire. And I think Violet was not in a position to pocket Flora, so Flora is also not as good at Tracer, like just not even close. So they're able to actually win the pressure point in cart. That's a big trade. Big trade there, right there. Okay. Yeah. Good nano. Good nano. Good nano. Very good nano from there. Good try there from Zeta, but Flora kind of gets diffed, and that's pretty much it. Who do you think is the best main support of the series? Of this series? I don't know. It's hard to say, you know? Who's the best Brig? Who's the best Illari? I mean, that's the more important question to me. Flank from the Winston. He's going to go for Primal. He's going to get touch. Pretty decent cooldown trade there. Peel rally. Fearless needs to melt now. He is. He doesn't even get his Primal off. He gets pulse bombed as well.
Where has this been? This guy is starting to absolutely dismantle Zeta, ripping them.
Okay.
This guy has been definitely getting hot in the mic.
Merit needs to use the high noon and swap. It's hard to be bad at main. Yeah, agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. Okay. Okay, they're cooking. They're cooking. They're cooking. They're going to force the high noon here right now. If they block nade and sleep, this could work. They're going to force at least one, if not two ultimates out of this. Do it. 3, 2, 1. Someone jump. Someone jump. Do it. No! Oh, frick. They needed to get the someone jump to here. Bubble off here. 3, 2, 1 push here. Ah, they didn't quite get the timing right, though. Crud, man.
Spots the positions, forces them back down to the low ground.
Can they force the Winston out? They do. The rotation to Cassidy there. Someone's a little bit exposed there. Primal might be forced. I think he's okay. Vega's low in the rotation. Someone's okay. Does not get his Primal force. Cart is moving. High noon on the angle. Just feels like the zone. Get some cart push. I feel like he should have held that a little bit longer, frankly. Maybe they were scared of the anti-nade. And then they really need to, honestly, I guess force cart. Like, I don't really know. There's not all, you can't really force top anymore. Someone zones backline, doesn't quite tuck into cover. Primal Rage is forced. He needs to clear top with this. He needs to clear top with this, or at least force Primal. He gets Primal. Now he can live. So Primal for Primal. You messed up, but you made them mess up too. There's nade, but they get the nade off onto Vega. How did Vega get hit? What? Yeah, so Vega bashes Al, but Vega's in trouble. They might need to nano him. The sleep is huge. The hinder is huge. The pulse is huge. The nano's huge. The nano comes onto Vega, but RuPaul's too close. He's gonna die. They need to get the trade here. Fearless needs to die now. He needs to die now. He needs to die now! Holy crap, and someone does not get out. That's actually so unfortunate. RuPaul just gets a little bit too close. This entire fight goes differently here.
Target not going to be found, but Fearless does manage to find RuPaul woken up with that nano here in play. Merit has one on the opposite side. The Electric Cowboy coming through, is able to find one, but still needs a lot more than that.
I love the look down flash, like this is old flash. Zeta commits though. Violet does not get pulse. Oh, Spanias! Okay, nice jump. Messy fight. Toronto needs that. Merit needs to go Widow. Merit needs to go Widow. Merit needs to go Widow. Wait, they nanoed Merit? Oh. I mean, I don't think it really matters that much. I mean, it does matter a little bit, but I think the Dano Cassidy was fine too. Because if Merit, like, the only thing is that you want punish and live. Merit should have been Widow here, I think. I think this is like where Cassidy does like 0 damage here. It's the first time you've heard me scream? Nate, where you been? Can you nade that as a question? I don't know. It's probably just going to get blocked at this point. They got Tracer and Cart. He needs Pocket, though. They get Pocket. They're ready to rally catch if they push. I do like this rotation there, but the problem is the nade hits, and the rally isn't in time to catch, and Merit just... I don't know. Oh! All right, let's shut up and listen to Toronto.
Yeah.
Shoot him, break. Continue point. Done it. Mine in 3 seconds. But my angle's so good, Ham. My card. Take it. Focus try. Focus try.
Yeah, shooting try.
Good call there. RuPaul calls my angle so good. My angle so good. Don't force the push. Let them come to us. Exactly what the problem was on defense, right? In addition to that, he says focus Tracer, who's going to be the person that's stalling Cart. Really great call from RuPaul.
Big nade. Break one.
Oh, no. Nice.
I mean, I don't like the cast, but I freaking love the rotation there. I love the rotation. And honestly, maybe the Cassidy was kind of like what allowed part of that rotation, because you have the threat of, it's a little bit scary for Winston to jump that far without a nade or a follow-up, right? So.
Big it. Monkey.
Copy us.
Come monkey.
Echo. Monkey. Nice.
Alright.
Copy, rally.
Nano primal.
Nano primal pulse.
Nano primal.
Look how easy and quick that was. No, they use copy, rally, nano primal pulse. No, ult tracking, bam. Now let's talk.
Nano cast.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Listen how simple the calls were. Listen how simple the calls. I could primal top and then nano push, right? So I can primal top, clear top, and then you guys push up top to follow. And then RuPaul says, or yeah, nano cast, as in let's nano Cassidy push off the top. And that's it. That's it. There's your plan.
No problem. Nano cast. Wait, push guard first, push guard.
They're not here, they're here. We can make each other.
We need to...
And so now it's just the timing. Let's chill. We don't need to do it just yet.
Okay. They're not here, they're here. We can make each other.
We need to
Okay.
I'm going to focus the echo.
And the fight victory going the way of Toronto.
That's all you need to call.
Keeping this competitive. 1 minute and 7 seconds of time to beat. We've got 2:40 to try to make it happen.
This is what I wanted Zeta to do. You know, like they had the ultimate economy to be able to push top, and they didn't do it. And I think oh man, it's so nice to hear. It's so nice to hear. What did Flora pulse? I mean, Flora's just trolling, man.
Okay.
And the fight victory going the.
we need to
Okay.
Oh, he just fat fingered. He fat fingered. Chat, Flora fat fingered. He's hiding here with pulse bomb,
Okay.
and he just presses pulse bomb. Oh no, he's hiding for the pulse push up top, and he's sitting there, and he just goes. Oh no, poor guy. Dude, that sucks, man. Oh no. Oh man, that sucks. GG's, man. Frick.
And the fight victory going the way of Toronto. Keeping this competitive. 1 minute and 7 seconds of time to beat. We've got 2:40 to try to make it happen.
So nano available. Finn didn't get to use it on the B fight, but the ultimates are basically...
So there's the nano, or the primal. Tracer card, hard push top, trade, force primal, and maybe even kill.
Even at this stage,
Let's go.
Feeler's still 4% away.
There's the bubble.
Someone
Ham primals. Now they push top. Here comes the nano.
He primals, but he's immediately right back into the back.
There it
Trying
is.
to get an isolation pick here on Violet. Deadeye pop from Merit, seeking target. Just going to be softening up that
Oh,
primal.
they lost so much space off of that. Okay, risky.
This guy finds Alpha E for his trouble. Echo taken down, Pulse Bomb going to be going wide. Sugarfree, however, still a bit of a menace. Sleep Dart connecting here onto Merit, but can they collect the elimination? The answer is going to be no. He steps up, finds a flashbang into field.
It's messy, but it's well done. It's messy, but they keep their composure and they're able to check the boxes that they need to check.
Can they touch?
They're going to have to try for it.
Merit.
Will fall.
I don't know, man.
Coming up with that, but he's down to his sliver. Fearless rejoins.
Let's go. Yeah, well done. Pretty good planning stuff. Like, man, it's nice to hear high quality comms, man. Like, you guys could see how simple it is. 1, 2, 3. This is what they have. Let's take top. With the information they know they're gonna have to worry about primal. They know they're gonna have to worry about pulse bomb. So they're cautious about it, but the plan's still the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Gates now
unfortunate.
opened.
Okay. The Pharah is probably to try and boop somebody off top, and they'll little swap Pharah.
Minute and 7 seconds down to that minute now here. Zeta Division. It took him a while.
He might stay. Maybe he stays for first point. I mean, first point's okay with
To be able to
Pharah.
get the cap on A, they need to go and close an immense amount of distance here.
I don't know.
With much more limited time.
Yeah, there's the nade.
Did a well and truly good job on the
They try to
point,
punish
but I think Zeta
Bubble.
Division had the slight advantage there. The A looked just
There's the Pharah
that much
angle. There's the nade. The nade is kited. Bubble's kited. But they hit just enough.
Nearly picked
They
off.
get
The
Finn.
well
Someone
end
needs
up
to
going down.
live.
Sugarfree
Someone
once
does
again,
live.
The player to collect. Looking for a little bit more. Flora dashing around, man.
I think they need to chase Flora here.
Flora towards that mega pack, but for now the cart going to be stagnating. Alpha E out
Or
in the
that.
back line.
Alpha E
Taken
or
down.
Flora.
Violet as well. Further staggers found. Fearless antied should be eliminated. It is as Merit finds a headshot, and for now it's
Huge fight.
ironclad on the hold here for Ultra.
Yeah, it's going to have to be an OT push for the point.
Recall force early. Flora's dead. Flora's dead. Flora's dead. Flora's dead. Flora's dead.
They have all the kills so far, all the damage so far.
So they go Zen just to shoot cart because they're not even playing for a long fight here. They just want as much pressure on point as they possibly can.
I don't think this is a good idea. He probably needs to go back over towards the brig.
Now, I don't mind this end. Like, you're just basically playing, like, let's cheat this here, and maybe somebody overextends. You got a lot more shield pressure. Just bam, bam, slam, bam it. And then if you can win this fight, then you're good. I actually think Honest End is like a good cheese thing
Have
here.
the touch, the drop downs there. Fearless keeping it in overtime. As for now, some space going to be opened up. Someone backing away as the Discord orb connects onto him.
Yeah, they need to take top here.
Still so far.
This is it. This is it. This is your series right here. Nade, Winston dive has to be.
Far ahead.
Ult's so far away here from the side.
They got the nade. They got the dive.
Broken down. Sugarfree able to find Alpha Yi. The pulse bomb stick. Violet annihilated. Sugarfree. This map has been his playground. In Zeta Division, they're the ones with sand.
They get the cart, just Tracer. Tracer pushing cart, and they put emphasis on going for backline with their Tracer instead of marking cart. No, Mauga would have folded versus Ana Cassidy. It wouldn't have worked. Okay.
See if he stays.
No, will not.
Okay, it's going to be the cast again. Now remember, Zeta had a
I think there's too much verticality for the Mauga comp
pretty
to
reasonable
feel
defense
comfortable
on
there.
A, broken by the fact that Sugarfree completely outplayed the ground. I'm trying to Ultra now. Have to be very careful.
Fearless.
Playing back into the Alpha Echo, which is so good on rooftops.
Do your homework, take your rotation. Do your homework,
Already
take your
working well.
rotation.
The
Don't
headshots
panic.
continuing
Do
to
your
ring out.
homework,
Here's
take your
Merritt.
rotation.
Accurate as ever.
Yep.
Gonna look to reroute.
Do your homework, take your rotation. Do your homework, take your rotation. Watch for anti-nades. They do the rotation. There's homework. Whoa! Finn! Holy crap! Finn knows there. Does someone not have bubble? Does someone not have bubble? Someone must punish this. Someone must punish this. He has to. He cannot let this rotation happen. Wow.
Anti coming through. They try to collapse. They try to get the peel off, but ultimately.
And where's Vega? Okay, Vega's there, but they split in their kite. So, okay, that's a huge error. So great response from Finn, but someone has to be ready with bubble. He can't, like, look at this. He's still AFK. He doesn't have bubble. Something messed up. You cannot do a rotation without bubble, even if the rotation isn't on the bubble, because otherwise the enemy team just pushes your backline and you sit there with the egg in your face and you can't do anything. Like, this should be a trade. There should be people dying from Zeta right now. I don't know if it was a whip or if he wasted bubble or what. Wow, you weren't joking. That's a massive play from Zeta.
Honestly, too many mistakes here. One or two. The ultimate, speaking of which, this time, Finn, defensive Ana, way further ahead than RuPaul. Similar storylines.
And they're willing to even give the corner here.
Need to see some heroics out of Ultra again.
Because this choke.
Once again, advancing forward, less than 20 minutes left to go.
Again.
I think you need to get your Cassidy on high. I think you need to get your backline on high as quickly as you possibly can. I think you need to prepare to mark Echo and deny. You must deny the nano. You must know that they have nano first. So you have to play deny. I do think that you need to try to use your nade aggressively with your Winston and Tracer pressure to see if you can get Fearless to use jump or bubble. Because I think that you have to find a way to screw up the nano engage, either by anti-nading or being in a better kiteable position here. Tracer has to deal with cart, get your backline up top. They can pocket the Tracer from here. It's fine. But you have to be ready to control high and kite out this nano. You have to. And then you have to be ready for the Alpha Yi high ground roof stuff. Has to be. Definitely a tough situation, but really winnable here. Like, you could, it's very difficult because Zeta doesn't necessarily want to push through the choke with nano either. Like, we saw how that went for Toronto. It's very messy, right?
Advancing forward, less than
someone needs help up here. They need to rotate everyone up here. And then you can have your Cassidy peeking through this window here, Brig marking this door case here, and then Ana kind of hovering back here, shooting cart. She has 3 covers: Cassidy, Brig, and Tracer on cart. Winston and Tracer can get cart.
1% towards that primal. Pulse advantage to Flora, but
and you look for an anti-nade on either Echo or Tracer or Winston, anybody on cart to try and force a recall, a bubble, a shift, anything like that.
And Sugarfree looks to get his own online, but the Nano
Like right there. The anti-nade hits here, you're good.
is there for Finn, and that could
The setup looks okay.
be everything here for Zeta Division to try to cling on, to try to hold out hope. 14 seconds on remaining. The Nano
Yes, 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 yes. That's what you needed. That's what you needed. That's what you needed.
Bubbles going to be exchanged here.
Not the best Nano engaged. I mean, the Nano's basically gone. This is huge.
Oh!
Forward Bubbles going to be exchanged.
You have to mark this guy. Bring it on!
Not the best
You have to know.
Nano engaged.
You have to know. You either move or you stay and mark. They just gave him the flank for free.
I mean, the Nano's basically
Unreal,
gone.
man. Oh, what a choke.
This is
Huge
huge.
the Bionade is absolutely monstrous. They get RuPaul both going to be taken down.
It's not even the Bionade. It really is not. It's fearless. It's a lack of marking here. And this is like the easiest nade in the history of the universe. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Finn. It's a huge, huge error. Huge error. Huge error. Full HP. You deny the Nano and just walk away. Like, you can't do that, man. You have to stay on his cheeks, man. You have to stay on his cheeks. You cannot let him re-engage. The whole point of you needing bubble is so that you will get slept or you'll get whipped. And then they just, like, whip him and they just forget it exists. That's a huge mistake. That's such a fumble. Okay, well, last map, y'all. Great stuff. Now, I want to talk about this one because this is the worst ban of the entire series. I think. The worst ban of the series is yet to come. So let me tell you guys a little story. We're coming up with the Runasapi. Map is selected, Runasapi, and all they want to do is they want to play Bernard. They can't ban Winston. It's already been used. They've seen Fearless play Ball wherever, so they're going to ban Ball. Okay. Players are on break. And they have 60 seconds to pick a ban. Casaurus picks his ban instantly. Ball, go. And he's on stage. Now, I'm just echoing what he said. Staring Coach Rascal in the eye. 60 seconds, 59 seconds, 58 seconds, 57 seconds, 56 seconds. Now, Casaurus told me that he was basically praying that they didn't ban Brig. Because if they ban Brig, we might not be able to peel off the dive in the way that we'd want to. They would run like Diva, Kiri, Lucio, something like that. Might be really difficult for them to might be very easy for them to close the distance because you run Diva, you run Tracer, you run Kiri, you close the distance. You don't have a Brigitte. Diva just destroys this on this map. Expecting to be able to close the distance, and the time is ticking. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. And Rascal is panicking. Rascal's panicking. Down to 2 seconds. The admin says, if you do not pick now, you will forfeit the map. And he just panics and calls Soldier. So Casaurus just alpha chads by picking the ban instantly, puts the pressure on Rascal. Rascal is unable to pick the right ban. Archausen, thank you for the sub. Well, Brig is not necessarily the most intuitive ban here. But like, let's say that they wanted to ban any other DPS. Yeah, you could have banned Ashe. You could have banned Ashe. You could have banned Tracer. You could have banned Tracer. Right? Because I think Alpha E Flora. Sugarfree, I think you force Echo Mirror. Echo or Pharah here. Pharah maybe not great, but you could force different characters. I think Alpha E's got more of the hero pool than Sugarfree. And I think Alpha E's Tracer is great. Sugarfree's Tracer is great. But once you cut out Tracer from the equation, I think the gap closes a little bit. And this is a missed opportunity. Casaurus thinks. So, yeah. They wanted to force a Sigma. They wanted to force a Sigma. They wanted Bernard in. They wanted to force a Sigma. And Kasaurus told me that if they had banned Brigitte, they were ready to walk out with Zarya. They would have gone Zarya, Kiri, Lucio, and just run it down. So, yeah. Ball, Soldier. No, I think the Tracer front was just a rushed pick, honestly. I'm honestly not too sure. Because the Soldier ban makes literally 0 sense. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, unfortunate moment. And Toronto's about to roundhouse kick to the throat. No spoilers.
A strange Soldier 76 ban coming through in Zeta Division. Honestly, I think the Tracer should have been banned here. You need to shut down Sugarfree, and because the Tracer's available, Sugarfree's going to go for it.
That he is.
This is how this works. If you close the distance with this composition, you are going to have a hard time with this composition. Because you're going to have Matrix on your face. One, everything's going to be eaten by Matrix. And you're going to have dive follow-up off of that in addition to that. I mean, we've seen a very similar matchup to this in the Colosseo. The difference with Colosseo was the Winston over the D.Va. Winston can close the distance easier, but can't stay close as long, right? D.Va has a harder time closing the distance, but once she's there, and for a long time. For Toronto, controlling angles, applying pressure, constant pressure as much as you possibly can. And ironically, in my opinion, it's not a lot of pressure on D.Va. You do have decent D.Va damage, but it's not as big of a priority. The bigger priority is forcing Suzu, forcing an amp, catching Lucy out of position, forcing a blink or a recall. So that if it's just a D.Va trying to do the damage, she might not be able to do enough. So you could obviously shoot the D.Va, it's just fine. And worst case scenario for Toronto as well, if you're really having a hard time, the obvious swap, which we saw Zeta do on Colosseo, is with Vega on Brigitte, which is, and this is why they were so scared of Brig being banned, because you could just run this down and, you can mirror here. You can absolutely mirror here, but yeah.
In such big ways, made that map competitive.
The key thing here is at this point in time, and don't forget, is that they don't want someone calling. They want to run Sigma because they don't want someone to have to call. That's the key thing. So normally even running a Winston versus a Lucio here, like you'd think that Toronto would be happier, but they don't want someone on that. So
now, coming out here with the Sigma to go up against Bernard on this D.Va.
There's the rotation. You see they're trying to close the distance. They're trying to maintain space while keeping Sugarfree on an off angle.
A lot of counterplay on this map, though. We see a lot of D.Va, and then to the Zarya swap, potentially for the Ram to come through as well, and that's online for Zeta Division. They want to go towards the Ram.
Soldier was just a goof up. You'd have to scroll back a little bit and stream.
Style coming through from both teams. You have the very classic Toronto Ultra.
They're trying to close the distance. Tracer's trying to mark. The accretion is really important because the accretion is how you stop the D.Va from pushing and or chunk a lot of her HP. Big dynamite. Look, this is kind of what you want. It's not perfect, but like they've chunked before they've committed. A lot of rotating, a lot of dancing here. We're dancing. A lot of dancing. That's a huge accretion. That shuts down the push. Can we get the Tracer out? Oh, we got the Cassidy on the flank. Can we catch the Cassidy? Shield used, lamps used. Oh, they closed the distance. And honestly, that angle from Flora is clutch, right? Look at how much attention he baited. Look how much longer he lived than you think he would have, and then the damage that he did as a result, and that just honestly allows everybody from Zeta to close the distance. Yeah, nice. I mean, it might be a messy trade here, maybe? But Zeta has to be pretty happy with that first fight, and we'll probably see the Brig swap here, yeah.
Power so strong for Lucio Kiriko into the D.Va, and Vega knows that he's going to swap over to
Violet has played Brigitte and Lucio for 2 years, 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
Now Finn is the one sitting on the Katsuna Rush. Maybe a little bit difficult for Toronto Ultra to absorb here, but having the Brig will at least help a little bit.
So the Brigitte makes it a little bit harder to close the distance because you have the packs, the burst heal of the packs, which is a lot better than the more slow sustain from the pylon. In addition, Brig provides a little bit of the sustain armor pack beef herself, and she can also support her DPS a little bit better so that they could take the angles that they need to poke out the D.Va, right? The problem with Illari is she can provide her own angle support, but she has a hard time supporting other angle support because she doesn't quite reach them.
Decent spot potentially for him to try to utilize that window, but we'll have to drop down and take some more forward space here. Spot getting closer towards that checkpoints.
Waloob, they had nothing else to ban. They had nothing else to ban. They wanted Bernard in. They did not want to ban an off-tank character. They wanted Bernard in, and Fearless had played ball versus SSG. Yes, it's unlikely to play ball versus Toronto, but it's possible, and they want to remove they did not want to provide any restrictions versus Bernard in. So, and they couldn't ban Winston because they'd already banned Winston.
Someone holding up front, just trying to keep this locked in position for the time being. Pulse bomb available on both sides.
Zeta a little patient here. I mean,
I don't think Zeta can do anything here. I actually don't think Zeta can do anything right here. This distance is far too long to close. I think that they should just stall cart, farm ultimates, and just chill. Maybe if they get Kitsune or Beat or High Noon, they could do like a Diva push from here, and then maybe a speed amp rotate. Maybe I honestly think that your best bet here might be to try and one-shot Sugarfree or something, like try to catch him off guard. I think this distance is too far. I don't think they can actually engage here. It's just too open. But it's fine though. You have a lead. You don't really need to do anything. There's accretion. Oh, this is it. Oh.
Might just be waiting for Violet, but now they have everything to play through.
Okay. Well.
Oh. Okay. So let's talk about this. Let's be a Violet advocate, and then let's be a Violet hater. Let's alternate here. Violet advocate is that this is a response to the BAP window, and he's calling beat push, beat push, beat push, beat push, which in theory will mean matrix on the entire shooting of the enemy team, which allows him to close the distance. The play itself is not, in theory, bad. The timing is very important. There might have been a miscommunication. The matrix from Bernard and engage from Bernard is very late, and so on. Let's be a Violet hater. The setup for this push is literal cheeks. There is not a single angle on my field at all. They're not even trying to go in through the right. And in addition to that, Violet has no reason to be this far out in the open for the beat push. You could do the exact same thing speed engaging from here. In addition, even if communication was the problem, he's clearly so far in front of his team. Look, he even gets the matrix. He's just too far and too open for it. It's a poorly set up push. It's a poorly set up beat. And he deserves all the clowning that he gets.
Okay, well,
it's just not even a good play. Like, it's just too far. It just, you can't, we saw this in the Colosseo. You can't just grit your teeth and run it down mid on any sort of distance like that. Not versus the brick comp. Not versus the brick comp. Even with beat there, that's going to be a messy fight. There's no rotation there. There's no angle, no nothing. No, nothing. At least Toronto had an angle when they did those plays. Zeta had nothing. We're devolving back to where they were the first map. And very well-earned fight from Toronto. And they've got to be laughing their way to the bank with that one. Do you think it works if no window? No. 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 In theory, possibly, yeah, but it's still a bad setup. It could work, but it'd still be terrible play.
I mean, you are just peeking into a window for RuPaul. What is going on? Violet's getting money again. He's getting the money again. We saw it versus Atlanta in 2021. He jumps for no reason, and now he's going to Ajax in map 7. Such an important map, and momentum so important because they had all this momentum. And they just throw it away. Violet, what are you doing?
Live by Violet, die by Violet. That time it was a die. Let's see if they can get resurrected, though, and get back into this map. They only give up 18 meters here on the push.
I think if you're Toronto, I think you just chill here. You've used some ultimates. They've used some ultimates. You have a positional advantage. You don't really have anything to force with. I don't even think you can force Flux here without seeing Suzu, because you can't even Flux cart here. Divas just fly away. Diva will live a reback. I think you just shoot. I think this is risky. I think this is really, really risky. They could just Suzu this, and this entire push is killed. Unless they saw Suzu, which they did not, I do not like that play at all. Maybe they were thinking about they're going to force a response, but I really do not like that Flux from someone, because that has given them a window of vulnerability here. Flux should have been better to catch. I'm surprised that this goes as poorly as it did. I think maybe they try to focus someone there instead of going for backline there, but frankly, I don't know, like that. I mean, fighting uphill is also tough as well, and I also don't know where I don't know where Alpha Yi is, but this is a jump pad opportunity here. Like you put your D.Va in here, you say, Finn, Violet, let's push top at this. Like if this was Toronto would be pushing top with Kiri Tracer or Lucio, or Kiri Tracer, or right, or Lucio Tracer, right? There's no way that they follow their D.Va with full Matrix and bomb. It's just a bad plan. It's just a bad execution, and Ashe on this angle is just murdering. They're just crossfiring, right? So they just run it down mid. It's bad. It's just bad. There is no way to sugarcoat it. The funny thing is about this is as bad as the previous fight. It's less memeable, but it's just as bad. And someone gave them that window, wasting Flux like that. That's a criminal fight loss there from Zeta, given the opportunity that they had there. Criminally poor play from the support and DPS line there. I mean, not necessarily Flora there. I mean, Flora high noon zoning main was fine, but just terrible. Just terrible. You cannot be that unimaginative at that much of a disadvantage in space. It's just lazy. Pharah, because why not? Flora's on Tracer, and this is just kind of a disaster. I mean, Cassidy's not that good versus Toronto, let's be very clear, but I don't know that Pharah's all that good here. This is just going from bad to worse. And this space is, I don't even know why they're trying. I don't even know why they're rallying, honestly. Like you are smoking the bong here if you're Toronto. You sit here, you put Vega right here with Ashe, and you put RuPaul here, and you just have Tracer control here, and someone's on cart. Zeta is not doing jack all in this space. There's not a single Pharah angle, Tracer angle that they can take to do anything here. Unironically, freaking Bernard's got to throw an Emong bomb or something, or a Poco bomb to get anything done here. This is terrible. I'm surprised they even pop rally. They actually lose the space here. They gave the angle to D.Va there, so it's actually kind of bad from Toronto there. They kind of shambled it there. Too much panic going on here. You're being chilling, ladies and gentlemen. But there is so much damage that they just sit and shoot. Bap window, sure, why not? That's insane. Is it dark? Yeah. There's the catch. There's the Kitsune. Again, open space. Bob is used to catch the aggression. He needs help. He needs help. He needs some milk. Bob is fine. Kite is fine. Zeta's trying so hard to close the distance, and it just doesn't matter. My bad, I didn't mean to try to rebrand the Poco bomb. Poco might send me like a hate bomb filled with his toenails or something.
That is a really unfortunate death. And because Sugarfree's still alive, the clutch potential is still there.
The Ana swap I actually think is quite good. I think the Ana's pretty good. You have more, like, you might struggle versus the Sig a little bit, but you do. There's nade opportunities. The Nano is good. There's like a little bit more range, a little bit more space. I think the Ana is good. It's also probably a comfort pick as well. The girl behind pressed the emote button. What did I miss? She's gone.
It's been a big rally back here for him. Sleep Dart not going to connect.
That doesn't hit the nade. They kite it out, but the pulse bomb hits. Okay, so they're able to get a push here. Like let's just admire the setup from Zeta. Okay?
It's been a big rally back here for him.
Int this way on a pincer.
Sleep Dart not going to.
And when I say admire the setup here, I'm not even necessarily being like passive aggressive here. I'm just actually glad to see that they actually like tried to set something up for once, you know? And it worked, right? It worked. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. They didn't even hit the nade, but at least they tried, you know? Jeez, man. See that again. Marigo's cast, which is good. A little bit better versus the up and close personal kick your teeth in, say. Spinglow, that's the first one. I don't mind Spinglow. Spinglow's alright. You get the Spinglow card. I mean, Finn dying there was kind of inevitable, given how it was set up. But yeah, I agree. Accretion. Flora gets murked because it's Flora. Angle push. Oh!
Is just gonna reset the mech all
Rally pincer push to clean up the staggers. I think it's definitely worth the commit of ultimates here. Vega just needs to live. No, Finn gets the nade off.
get even more distance.
Oh, what a stick.
Maybe a little bit off-timed there. I think it was a bit off-time from Toronto. So, like, you see this here? This is the problem here. They needed to kind of play more chill here, because look at people over here, right? It's a good play. It's just a little bit too fast.
To get even more distance.
Oh, what a stick.
That's a huge pulse, though. That's a fight-saving pulse there, because this fight was very, very messiable, for lack of a better term. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Messiable is a perfect term.
Gonna be broken out of the mech. Time does pull the trigger on this one, sends the self-destruct, and while in pilot form, actually finds a kill.
Oh, that's actually insane.
Solid return fire ultimately here for the side of Zeta.
And it cost him the rally as well. So, like, the idea of the play was fine, but the timing was just a little off, and that hurts, man.
Yeah, well, and
That hurts, really.
A minute less to work with. I think a minute 30 the cap was only the throw put in ultimates in that fight. Ultra 3 minutes 20 away from confirming a grand final.
Probably just BAP window, see if you can force the Nano Diva and kite it. Similar to what they did with the beat earlier, right? It's easy to LOS, so is the only concern. Oh, early Flux. What did he do with the Flux? I don't get the Flux, man. I do not get the Flux. The Flux needs to be used to catch. You cannot force value of the Flux in the small rooms. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You're not going to get cooldowns. You're not going to get anything. Terrible Flux. I don't know what he's seeing. I think he's seeing the support rotations and then missing them. Huge accretion, though. Even though he didn't get the shift, the still hitting there is like a big window of opportunity there. And they're able to trade.
Diving into the back line, looking for RuPaul, immortality field. Not quite dealt with fast enough to be able to get the...
Hey, guys. Do you guys want to take any bets as to how this push was set up? Any bets? Any bets? That's right. All together as 5, as a unit. Running it down mid. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. There's nobody even here. Thank you.
Diving into the back line, looking for RuPaul, immortality field. Not quite dealt with fast enough to be able to get the punish.
I mean, the margin of error is right there. They're so close. It's just a poorly set up push. Like, okay, you live the Flux, you stall the cart, you say 3, 2, 1, Nano Diva here, sure, and then you send your Lucio on it this way to flank nade from this angle here. Then everybody dies under Sigma Shield. Heck, you could even send your Pharah on the same angle and comp and wrap to this way.
Level of pristine mechanical warlord perfection.
Close, but not quite as good as me. It's just rushed. Everything is rushed. It's just you just needed 0.4% more setup, more off angles, more timing. It's just bad. It's just bad. Zeta has NA hive mind setups when they're playing Lucio comps. Criminal fight to lose there. Given that someone's Flux whiffed. Again, this fight should be almost impossible to win with the space that they have. Yeah, you don't even need to high noon this, frankly. I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's high noon. It's not like that big of a deal. Give it to me, Lenny. Give me the sauce. Give it to me, Lenny. Oh! Yes! Yes! Speak to me, Lenny! Woo!
And they don't even have to push. Look at this. Toronto Ultra can just chill here.
Dead eye now from Merit. Zones them back. Sleep Dart will connect. Interrupts the ult with Sugarfree on the hunt. The drop down coming. It's stuck once again. Finds Finn.
Unfortunate. You know what, chat? It actually looks like Zeta set something up. I'm not to over exaggerate here. I see somebody in the right room. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just at 3, 2, 1 ran it down main. I think Finn hit a nade. Finn hit a nade, and I think they pulsed the sleeping Cassidy as well. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe they didn't. I mean, it's still a big kill, right?
It's a huge problem. It was working. I'm not too sure about this, honestly.
This is the Winston swap because they're like full committing to the dive comp, and Winston can abuse this now. I think the swap is good.
They're ahead. There's no time remaining. Toronto Ultra could have slowed down the game just by continuing to play the same.
This is fine.
Yeah,
I think this is fine. We already talked about this with Kasaurus. They think that the Winston's good versus the Diva. It's a lot easier to close the distance on this map. They have the Brigitte. They have the matchup that they want. The Ana and the Pharah. This is good. There's just not a lot of damage that Winston has to worry about here. And now you just hold the corner and chill. Hold the corner and chill. Hold the corner and chill. Look at the split here. Maybe a little bit close, maybe a little bit naked to on-and-8 here. You gotta be really careful of on-and-8 if you're this split, but it's pretty good.
Already got the mid. This threatening the cap.
Threatening it, but this is where things ended unraveled for them last time.
There's the deep Winston dive. They take that opportunity to isolate Violet, who, where the frick is Violet? I think he just gets shot. Yeah, like he just gets shot out by, it looks like maybe RuPaul or Merit? No, RuPaul? I don't know. Oh, look at the nade. The nade. Good gracious, RuPaul. Great anti-nade here. It's really good. Winning that neutral feels so good. Oh! Oh!
On his reign of terror. Long the Sugarfree continues on his reign of terror. Long shall he reign.
Flora, just go home. Go home, Flora. Go home.
What he's doing is sending Toronto Ultra into the grand finals with 1 minute left to play through Zeta Division. Finn and Violet eat a
holy crap. And now we're at the same point again where literally Zeta has to do something. Another Violet engage. And you just chill. You just hold the corner. You just hold the corner. Defensively rally, defensively nano.
Use the sound barrier, and that
Pulse whatever the frick you want, because Lindy's gonna hit it. User, thank you for the sub. Hey, look at me, look at me. Yeah, they just rally the engage. That's it. They just rally the engage. They commit in. They commit the rally. They smoke Alpha Yi on the flank. They're ready for it. They beat. Oh, whoa, oh, what? The nade hits again. Merrick gets isolated. Maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Toronto again. I think in general, I don't like how, I hate to say this, I don't think how proactive they've been on this particular space. I think it'd be a lot more reactive with what they're doing.
Filling up the kill feed. Sugarfree with a recall, just looking to wreak havoc here even further. Take out a pick if possible, but also keep this bot.
Yeah, Finn dies. I mean, it's annoying. Ah! Oh no.
The DMEC is there. The self-destruct force someone.
Okay.
Time wasters. We're into OT now. This is gonna be final fight.
This is it, guys.
This next fight could decide the entire semifinal.
Brig swap. Here we go.
Get down to this with still 40 meters left to push. If you're Zeta Division, 2 good ultimates, but guess what? Someone has the primal, a really good stalling tool, and Zeta still need to cap. They have to do it now.
Finn gonna have to be Johnny on the spot. Take him out. With
Mark the tracer. Mark the tracer. They know he has pulse.
Take him out with that sleep dart.
They nano the Pharah. They sleep the Diva. The Pharah's naked. Merit starts to put pressure. Zoning backline. They have to disengage the Pharah. Tracer's 1. Sugarfree gets out. Primal Rage is forced. Flora is isolated and peeled again. Pulse misses. Flora dies. Bernard's DMEC. Primal is used. The Pulse does not hit. It doesn't matter. It's game.
For Toronto, years being in the Overwatch League, the mid allegations have been put to rest. And
nicely done.
With hands in heads. Kasaurus, amazing bands coming through. The coaching
nicely done.
Such a good run in this tournament in terms of how they've approached this entire tournament. Sugarfree, no doubt in my mind.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Toronto earned it. We closed series all the way through. Well played by Zeta. Most of the game, I think the first and the last game definitely pretty ugly from Zeta's side of things, but everything else looked pretty solid. I think, like, you know, whatever you may think here, like, Toronto played well. Toronto played well. This was high level Overwatch for the vast majority of the maps that were played.